What does God look like? What do you see?
We're solar-powered biological AI.
Wait, what?
These ancient adversarial entities, I think it's the very same ones that rebelled against God and were cast out.
They were sent here to guide us in antiquity, and they took advantage of that and just masqueraded as gods. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Gray Pilled Podcast. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it through another week. And Gray Pilled made it through another year. If you didn't catch my Sunday 1 year anniversary, we made it, guys. We fucking did it. And I was kind of making a big deal about it because it's like, if your podcast can last longer than a year, then you should be good to go. Guys, we have a returning guest tonight. One of my good friends. I think this is your third time coming back on the show.
I think so. Or I had you on my show once, or there was something like that. I can't remember.
Like a swapcast, maybe.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. Guys.
Either way, it's always a fun time.
Fuck yeah, man. John Lee Chalbeck, everybody. From It's Not What You Think podcast. And hey, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Congratulations on your 1 year.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry that you couldn't make it, but duty calls. Yeah, whenever you got to be with the family. I completely understand.
Right. I forgot about the time change when you said, yeah, we're not starting till then. Then I was like, okay. Then I waited an hour. I waited an hour and you're like, yeah, but I'm still another hour away. I was like, shit.
Dude, yeah, I thought I had told everybody, what was it? I think 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then, we just talked, and I thought you had lived in Florida this whole time. And so I thought you were an hour ahead of me for some reason. John, if no one's seen you before, do you kind of want to tell folks what you do and just a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone, and thanks again, Jules, for having me on. My name is John Lee Chalbeck. I'm a father of 4, and I have beautiful blonde, blue-haired wife, and all my daughters look exactly like her. I have an 18-year-old son, believe it or not, who's, I love listening to him yell at his dog because he's not listening. That just cracks me up so much,
He lives close to you, right?
Yeah, he lives with me. Yeah, he lives with me.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he lives with me. And so, yeah, I'm a fighter. I'm a coach. I supervise a construction company. I have a 6 a.m. class that I teach during the day, during the week. And then I go to work from like 7:30 to 5. And, I have a 6 p.m. class. I get back to the gym after work, and I have an evening crew that comes in. And then I pretty much get home at like 8 p.m. and, say goodnight to everyone and, spend as much time as I can with everyone, until I can try to get some things done that I need to get done for myself, which is, besides training, I just wrote a book, which took all my extra time. And it took a lot of effort and a lot of revision. And I knew exactly when I published it that I'd find like 50 more of the evidence that my book is all about, which has been, I'm definitely going to write. I'm already working on a sequel, to my book. So, I got a lot of things going on. I have a podcast too. I'm not so busy with that. It's like by the time I get home, and with my book, I told myself I wasn't going to podcast again until I finished that project. So now that I'm done, I am getting back to it a little bit, but slowly but surely, I need to definitely regain some momentum.
Absolutely, dude. I completely feel you. I took a couple weeks off around Christmas, but trying to break through that 1 year mark. So we finally did that. I've been meaning to order your book too. I've been talking about it on my live.
That's what everyone says.
I wanted you to write something, right? So it means a little more than just ordering a book, because you can order a book, but I just wanted you to, but I think we talked about that already, that you would send me one. And
yeah, for sure. I'm still waiting. I had to steal my cousin's copy to give to Sam because I'm still waiting on my shipment. So, it is what it is. I'll get them eventually. I didn't write the book for money or anything like that. I wrote it because God inspired me to write it, and he wrote it. I was just the pen, really.
Yeah. You told me that you had went and seen Sam and Eddie, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. I'd love to see him live. He booked a show here. This was like I guess maybe 2 years ago. Year and a half, maybe. And then had to cancel because he called the venue and they were like, man, you got booked on the wrong side of town.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
This was before I was podcasting. So like I hit him up being like, hey dude, my dad booked shows here for 15 years. I can book you somewhere else. But he never got back, which is okay. I should be going on there within the next couple months. I'm pretty sure. So, but that's awesome, dude. I love to see his comedy. It's funny as shit. Was XG here?
No, he wasn't. I thought he was going to be, but Eddie was, Eddie was really good. I mean, he had my cousin he had my cousin rolling. I mean, he thought it was so funny how he just kept saying pussy over and over again. It was just like, it was like so simple. Yeah, he made it so funny. Yeah, that was hilarious. But it was a good time, and I was glad I was able to get down there and get a picture with those guys and give Sam a copy of the book in person, because I was very grateful that he was gracious enough to write the foreword.
He wrote the foreword. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he wrote the foreword. So that was all I wanted to do, really, was, extend an olive branch of courtesy to him for, doing that for me. And, yeah, I mean, it was a good time. It was a long drive, and we ended up getting to the hotel. And as soon as I walked in and opened the door, there was a condom wrapper on the floor, and there was all sorts of like shit on the bed and stuff. And I took a couple pictures. I walked back up to the front desk, and fucking the guy was like, oh, I'm so sorry, it's my first day. And I knew he was bullshitting, because he knew exactly how to like call and get my rewards back, because I was like, I'm not even staying here at this hotel. You know what I mean? Like
he said,
yeah,
like, we're driving back.
It's like for real.
That's what happened.
Yeah. We ended up driving back, and like 2 hours in, I pulled over to the rest area, and I have a Toyota 4Runner. I had the thing all down, so I just slept in the back while my cousin slept in the front seat, and took a little nap. Then woke up at 6 a.m. and continued driving. But yeah, it was way better than you, because my friend got us the free room because he had all these extra points. He had all these extra Wyndham rewards points.
There's a reason. We now know there's a reason that is.
Well, we picked it. I logged into his account and I picked it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a very memorable, trip at the state of very least.
That was Sim Yaza just fucking with you, bro.
It really was, because the crazy thing was, when my wife was trying to rebook the room, the website that just popped up on her phone that she was using was room77.com.
Yeah, you show me, guys.
And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You got to be fucking kidding me. Like I mean, of course. Yeah, and then I'm sitting there, I show Eddie, I'm like, this is what my book's all about. He's like, interesting. I was like, let me come on your show and explain it, because he never heard about it. You know,
Yeah.
it's so interesting that these people are so deep in conspiracy, but they have no idea about this 77 worship that's literally in everything, you know, like just for example, the helicopter that just crashed into the plane. They released something that was like 77% of these airplane crashes was in some news story, and then the ice skating coach was 77. You know, it's like it's always there,
dude.
Yeah, it's always there.
Yeah,
no matter what. It's
guys, if you haven't seen John on my show before, it's been a while. It's been like 30 episodes or something, but he talks about the I don't know what, the goat of Mendes, known, it's basically Crowley's number, right? It's one of the thelemic numbers, one of many, and how it's related to the entity Semyaza, who stems in ancient Sumeria. We've talked about this a bunch, and as well as the Dark Mother related to Ishtar, Venus, that deity. So and you see it everywhere, and whenever he comes on the show, he always blows everyone's fucking mind with what he has to share with us. So,
and her number is 42. The
Right.
Dark Mother's number is
Right.
42, and you see this. You'll see this a lot in these transgender stories where the power of Ishtar is to turn men into women and women into men, and then you'll always see this 42 in these type of stories. Like in the Olympics, they had the gay blue Jewish Jesus, and they just had to put that he was 42 years old in the story. You know what I mean? So you know, that's how they do it to you. You know, it's always right underneath your in plain sight. You know, like that's their usual shtick.
Yeah, and that represented I think it was Dionysus. I'm pretty sure. The Dionysian mystery schools. I think I said that right.
There's a lot of rebranding going on all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. Well, in other cultures, Sin is the father of Inanna, right? So I think there's something to that, because in the cult of Sin, who is Dionysus, right? That's the moon god. Well, Sin is the moon god, the Muslim moon god. But yeah, some of their like acolytes were trannies, dude. Yeah, apparently.
Allegedly. That's such such an important word. You know, I got always like end a sentence with that. Like I'll be like, I'll wait like 2 seconds, and I'll be like, allegedly. You know, interesting thing, Jules, I found today, or yesterday was I was just like these Doge shirts kept popping up on my phone. You know, this Department of Government Efficiency that Trump put Elon Musk in recently, right? This is a new thing. And I immediately, you know there's always some etymology fuckery going on. So I put in Doge into Latin in my Google Translate, and immediately got a leader, right? And so then you research Google, research Doge, and it's a Venetian banking leader.
No shit, dude.
I'm not kidding. It's so, because MAGA is Latin for sorceress, right?
Magus. Yeah. Sorcerer. Yeah.
So MAGA is the feminine version of sorcerer, right? It's a mag, so they're always doing this Latin. They love Latin. Like they're always fucking with us with Latin.
They love their dude.
Yeah, so Doge, everyone. So they've got created Doge, and they're really paying homage to this Venetian banking leader system. It's the first thing that comes up. It's so interesting if you just do a little bit of research on your own, instead of listening to someone, and just go with the synchronicity that God sends you. There's a lot of power in doing it right now. As soon as you get the synchronicity in your brain, research it, think about it, and that's the time. That's the time to do it, in my opinion. And whenever something comes to me, I always go right to try to find the source if I can, if I'm not too busy. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, well, with fucking Elon, you saw when he changed his name. Well, you don't have Twitter. I forgot you couldn't log back in. So when
I'm Semyaza77 on Twitter right now is like my backup. I thought maybe I might be able to gain some traction if I entertain myself as the enemy. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's not. It's not. You know, they're too smart for that. They know my IP address. You know, they know I'm They know I'm just fucking around.
Well,
I'm shadow banned as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Me fucking too. Trust me. I had a couple of my audience members fucking tell me one time. He's like, I tried to look for this on X, but couldn't find your name. I had to go to your profile and go and fucking find it. I'm like, oh shit. That means something. That means I must be doing something right. So he changed his name to Kekius Maximus. And Kek is an Egyptian god, right? Yeah, the frog. And his fucking picture is Pepe the Frog. Yeah, bro. And that also ties into like the Green Man and Osiris and all that. And I have this theory that Elon is the rebranded, like basically like archetype of Lucifer, right? The false light.
Yeah, just more ancient trust fund dork fuckery, like I always say.
Yeah. We talked about that last time. Tiffany said, "Hey, Jules, tried to come on your 1 year special and congratulate you. You deserve it. You like super duper fastly evolved since the first time I saw you on the episode with Thomas and Donut. The one about the Surrealist Party, I actually did like a revamp one of that, Tiffany. But look at you fucking go. So congrats to you and all your hard work. You deserve it. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was, dude, we did like an 8.5 hour stream. It was fucking crazy. It was a good time. I'm probably going to do it every year now. So, but it was fun getting a bunch of people together and just fucking talking about shit. I think I may do that throughout the year or try to plan something like that, you know?
Yeah, I want to do more podcasts like that because I've always just done one-on-one stuff, really.
Me too. Well, excuse me. You know, I did a few podcasts, actually, that was like a whole bunch of people. I used to do Schizo News Network, and but as far as like, I just had people leaving and coming, leaving and going, you know. It was a good fucking time. So yeah, your book. I wanted to talk about your book. It's 77 Trust Fund Boulevard, right?
Avenue. Yeah, the sequel. I'm glad you said that because the sequel is probably going to be called 77 Trust Fund Dork Boulevard, different street, same fuckery, or something like that. Right. You know,
Fuck yeah, bro. When did you put it out exactly? Like
Christmas.
Okay. How many pages is it?
It's like 230 or something, 240. It's not.
Holy shit! But
it's not that.
No. It's 240 pages on 77, right? Like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a chapter about Crowley in the beginning. There's a chapter about revelation of the method. There's an introduction chapter which pretty much ties my life into how this 77 has, you know, come about in my own life and what these symbols have, you know, have affected me directly in my own life. You know, like when I said, I'm not looking, like when I found the Uvalde one, which really scared me because what happened was I was just, you know, doing some research, and then there was a video on Twitter and all the cops were running out of Uvalde and they were throwing up. And I was like, oh shit, I haven't looked into this one yet. Right. I swear to God, Jules, I clicked on,
dude, it was fucked.
I clicked on the very first thing. The first thing it said was the gunman was left unchallenged for 77 minutes. And I sat back in my chair like this, and I got like a weird feeling like all over my body. Like my hair stood up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like a demon was like looking directly at me from the number. And it was like, oh, you found me. It was like, be careful. Be careful. Don't fuck with me. Like, it was something like that. And it was just like, whoa, this is nuts, dude. And then I sent that to my friend real fast, who doesn't believe in any conspiracy. Like, they're coming around, but at first they didn't believe in anything. They sent me back, like, look what I found instantaneously, that the attorney general released a 77-page report right after they left the gunman unchallenged for 77 minutes. And I just dropped my head and I said, Lord, I'm not looking at another 77 tonight, right? I'm not looking at another 77 tonight. And I turned off my computer. I go in to watch the new Roadhouse with my family, and they heard me. They heard me say that. They heard me say it. I was like, I'm not looking at another 77 tonight. And we go to sit down. We're watching the movie. We're all watching it because it's a brand new movie. Conor McGregor, I do MMA. So we wanted to see how, everyone likes Jake Gyllenhaal. You know what I mean? So immediately, like not too long into the movie, he's walking down the road and he walks right past a mile marker, the green mile marker on the side of the road. And it's purposely intently in the center of the fucking shot. And I have to press pause. I look over at my wife and she goes, what the fuck is going on? Because it's obviously mile marker 77. Yeah. And I guess I say to her, I guess that's God letting me know that I don't tell him when I'm done seeing 77. He'll tell me when I'm done seeing 77. I don't tell him a fucking thing. And let me tell you, since that movie, I've realized that this is in you. You're more likely, it'll be harder for you to find a movie that it's not in there. Right? It's in almost every single movie. Like
pictures.
I found like
of it in fucking movies. Yeah.
I found like 50 of it in movies since that time. And so what I believe is that this is some sort of like requirement. Maybe the director doesn't exactly know what it means, but they're like, make sure that you get a 77 in the license plate on the sign on the wall, or, the sign on the store, I mean, it's evidently, it's clearly done on purpose. Like right. This cannot be some sort of weird coincidence that always keeps popping up. And like Crowley says, he says it very clearly. When you see 77 and 42 everywhere, you'll know that the Dark Mother and the Goat of Mendes have arrived. And what I believe is that he just rebranded these ancient entities with some new names, and these next generations of trust fund dorks have gone with this playbook, right? And more so, they're trying to bring this playbook to life rather than this playbook is playing itself out. I really believe that these trust fund dorks are that these numbers are more than likely fake, and that they're just putting them in the stories over and over and over again, because if it's in the story, then people will think it's true, because they tell us, and here's a great example, they tell us that Flight 77 is what hit the 77-foot wall, of the Pentagon, right? But clearly the video shows a missile, right? Clearly the video that was released shows... Allegedly, but we also see that there's no plane parts, in any of these pictures and stuff like that. There's
they fucking threw a passport on the ground. So
yeah, they threw a passport on the ground and a perfectly preserved license. You know what I mean? And it's stuff like that, right? Right, exactly. But if they believe it's Flight 77, then the ritual works. And so it doesn't matter. You can name any single like high impact event or movie, like pretty much, and we'll either find it together or in real time. Because I mean, I've had like 3 detectives read my book, and now every day they're sending me 77s they're finding. I mean, I've got a whole army of people.
That's fucking wild, bro.
I've got a whole army of people working for me now. Pretty much, sending me research, and I just keep putting it in the file folder. And I knew that, the crazy thing about my book, Jules, is that I wanted it to be done in the summer. And I got busy. I came up with excuses. I let it drag. I let it drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, or I just wanted to sleep.
Hey, either, dude. You got 4 fucking.
But it all happened for a reason, because the 77th anniversary of Crowley's death was December 1st. That became my last chapter.
Oh shit, dude.
And I had no idea. I had no idea. Because I was searching, what's my last chapter going to be about? What's my last chapter going to be about? And like I said, I just followed the synchronicities, right? And something popped up on Reddit that was like, happy anniversary to Aleister Crowley on the Thelema Reddit. Because I sometimes follow these Thelemites.
The gay Thelema Reddits. They're very
yeah, they're always greeting each other. 93 instead of hello, instead of how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. 93. Fucking dorks. None of them know how to throw a fucking punch. I could tell you that probably.
No, you're definitely right. And we talked about last time as well, the intention behind using these numbers. And if they're using them in these rituals for these, like, to these fucked up means, right? Or like I don't know, then it's obviously gonna, something's gonna come out of it. Even if people don't believe that they're doing it, I mean, they believe it.
Yeah, they believe it. That's all that matters. That's the main thing that people need to understand, is that they believe it, and they have all the resources, all the money, all of the power, and they act on according to their beliefs, which is, hidden occult mystery school religions that are pretty much worshiping fallen angel entities from name your civilization. It doesn't matter. Like, it's all the same ancient trust fund dork fuckery. And essentially that's what my book is all about. It shows you all of the highest impact events. For example, World War II was started with Public Act 77 and ended when Boxcar dropped Fat Boy on Nagasaki. The number that's painted on Boxcar is 77. So they start World War II with 77 and they end it with 77. I was watching No Country for Old Men the other day, and I was looking in my phone, so I didn't even really see this, but I heard, to me now, it's the most iconic line in the entire movie, Jules. Tommy Lee Jones' most southern Texas accent going, "Does that look about a 77 Ford to you, Wendell?"
Yeah, dude.
And I look up and I go, shut the fuck up. And I rewind it and I press pause and have to underline the subtitle, so I have evidence. I can make a poster right then, because
you sent to me.
Yeah, and I did it, and I did that right then, because there's a lot of power in the power of now, jump rope now, run now, hit the bag now.
Your intention behind it, right? Like, we're talking about intention. That's
right,
dude. Yeah, it baffles me, because it really, you could use any number for anything. They're doing ceremonial magic, right?
Yep.
So I don't know, how did you find out that it was related to Semyaza, or like Samlazaz, Simihaza? This is my personal theory after kind of like studying the rebranding that these trust fund dorks have done over and over again with Christ figures and all sorts of things. They're always rebranding these stories, rebranding these religions, rebranding these fallen angel entities. And Crowley obviously was a guy back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s that had a lot of weight with these trust fund dorks, you know what I mean? And their grandkids and kids really looked up to this philosophy, right? And now they're just playing it out as much as possible, and the proof is in the pudding. No matter the event, the Baltimore Bridge opened in 1977, the Norway shooting, he shot 77 people on the island.
Like, I mean, it transcends borders. It's not just America. You can give me any event, any of your people watching right now.
Give us an event.
Give us some events.
Watching Meat Cavern. What's up?
Give us some events, and I'll tell you where they hid the 77 most likely. If I know it, obviously I don't know everything, but I'm pretty studied with this worship, and it's all about 77, which I believe is Semyaza, the lead fallen angel that they're paying homage to, and 42 is the female version of this fallen angel, because we know that there's a feminine and masculine energy with these things. And
dualism,
right? And then 33, I believe, is the worshiping of the fallen angels as a whole, as a group. The 33% that fell at 33 degrees, because Mount Hermon is at 33 degrees. So
33 degree angle. Yeah.
Well, they're not the 33 degree angles, the coordinates of where it's at on the atlas. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's on
angles and angels. The etymology of that word, maybe.
Yes, and I think there is something to that, but I'm just talking about the coordinates that they give us. Like if you put into your GPS, you know what I mean? It'll be like, that's why they built the Pentagon on coordinates of 77, right? All the DC sniper shootings happened at coordinates of 77, right? I mean, they're always hiding it somewhere, right? If it's not in a street sign, if it's not in the age of a victim, like in the submarine that blew up or imploded underwater. Yeah. So it's always. They always have it, just like in this most recent helicopter, it was the skating coach, the Russian skating coach on the plane that was 77. I mean, to me, it's so obvious, and I'm not psychic, just the playbook's obvious. I can't be right in real time 99% of the time. That's impossible, right? To me, it's just an obvious playbook.
Yeah, and you find the dualism in almost everything that these occultists do. But I was gonna say there is a midrashic text about Semyaza and Ishtar. I guess it's kind of, I guess, like a myth or something, but a story nonetheless. So she was a woman named Issachar who basically seduced Semyaza and took his wings, which is, I think, symbolic for like taking knowledge, right? And was able to ascend to heaven as Ishtar. Yeah. And so thinking back about that, when you talk about Semyaza being the male, the goat of Mendes, and then we know goat is also a phallic symbol, right? Like, every animal is somehow symbolic of a penis. Someone, I've learned that.
And think about how they use goat so much now. The goat, he's the goat, she's the goat. Like Clarissa Shields is the goat, he's the goat. Like, and now you see this goat so much. Like I've seen this goat symbol and this symbolism on so many logos. Like more and more of these logos with the goat is coming out, and this is all 77. Just like Saturn is another version of 77. So you see this logo, everywhere, this Saturn worship. I mean, I could write a whole book on just Saturn logos, like as a worship, like for real. There's 1,000 logos. Planet Propane. I mean, there's like, you see that all the gas stations, they've got like a planet on fire with the ring going around it. I mean, it's never ending, this Saturn worship. But like I say, Saturn is just another version of 77. It's a rebranding, and that's their thing. That's how they keep us lost. They rebrand everything, laws, religions, philosophies, history, it doesn't matter. They rebrand everything. So we don't know whether we're coming or going. And a good example of that is they tell us we're a monkey. They tell us that we're dust in the wind. In one sense, all the seances, they are telling us that, but then they give the Nobel Prize to these two scientists that say that that the spirit, that consciousness came before matter. Here, you're the smartest scientist in the world now. Let me give you the Nobel Prize. You just told me that the spirit came before the body, essentially, in another way. And, now we're going to give you the Nobel Prize. And this is how they keep us, not knowing, which way is up, which way is down, as above, so below. And just like the first law of thermodynamics, they tell you that, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. They're telling you, like, they're telling you that your energy isn't going to die, but then they tell you that you're dust in the wind, you're a monkey. So, it's all rebranding and trying to confuse us to get us away from God and the Lord.
That's all it's about. Separate us from the creator.
Right.
Because that's all hell is separation from your creator, from the light.
I believe this is hell, and if this is hell that we're living in, and we keep being recycled until we ascend to the next level through Christ, essentially.
Right. And in a way, we're recreating this hell for us, just by the sins that we do commit, how we treat each other, which is most of the time like shit, right?
Right.
All the energy, because it's all, whatever you want to believe, there is energy constantly being conjured up in many ways. Sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional, but it's always going to be, like you said, recycled. Let's see. Yeah, guys, fucking tell us. Give us an event.
I was watching Sonic. Jules, I was watching Sonic the other day, and quote, word for word, he said something about to usher in a new, this is word for word Crowley in this book, in this movie, Sonic. He's like, he's going to use his chaos energy instead of magic. He says chaos energy to usher in a new age for humanity. That is literally word for word Crowley. That's word for word Crowley, just about in the new age of Horus. You know what I mean? Of bringing age, to usher in a new age for humanity. And yeah, man, I mean, they're constantly worshiping this guy still. And, I think that maybe he's not as the Las Vegas shooting, 2017, the guy graduated from college in 1977 and was married in 1977. They just had to put that in the story, right? So I actually looked for that one for quite a while. That's a good one, though. Yeah. Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah. And,
go ahead. Fire away. I love it. We'll find them. They're fucking with us all the time.
He's not gay, Joe. He has 4 kids and he's married. He has a beautiful wife, so.
And I'll beat the fuck out of you, so.
Oh, dude, you gotta be careful with Joey. He'll keep talking shit back to you, but it's all in good fun.
That's all good. I know how to deal with haters.
Oh, I don't think he hates you. This is Joey poop bag, bro.
No, I mean, eventually, they become haters, because I don't give a fuck.
Well, Joey's actually, whenever I get into like a bunch of occult topics, he actually can match me on the knowledge. Like he'll be in the comments fucking going at it. I'm like, damn, dude, you know about a lot of this shit, Joey. Good.
An enlightened soul.
Yeah, no, man. I love bro. Don't fight me. Oh, hold on. We got some more.
Right on, Joey.
What's up, Arcane? It's good to see you here, man.
Arcane. I love it.
Arcane Arsenals. Yeah, bro.
Joey is a live wire.
Let's see. What? Somebody said something else.
Okay, so these
we've done this one, I think you've talked about.
Yeah, and these ones are some of the ones that you some people might consider more of a reach, but like I said, it's how they believe it, right? It's how they believe it. And, they do use a little bit of multiplication or addition when they're fucking with 77, right? So they'll use 14 a lot because it's 7 plus 7. They'll use 49 a lot, right? Because it's 7 times 7.
Right.
And sometimes they'll even use 77 plus 77 because you'll see 154 a lot, So to me, those are more of a reach, but they are always there. They always there. And in Columbine's case, it lasted 49 minutes, which is 7 sevens, right? And the equal sign in math tells you that this is the same, right? Technically, the equal sign tells you that 7 times 7, is 49. That's 7 sevens. They're telling you all the time. So, you could consider it that, but I try not to look for those ones as much because I feel like a lot of numerologists, which I don't consider myself to be, really start doing multiplication and adding and all sorts of crazy stuff to come out.
Numerologist to learn about numerology, though. It's
That's
you
true.
don't have to be an occultist to learn about the occult,
right? For example,
because it's a slippery fucking slope.
Yeah, shout out to Paranoid American, but shout out to Paranoid American, but he sent
Thomas. We love you, Thomas.
Thomas sent me something that Sam was wearing on his shirt yesterday, and he did the reduction, and what was on his shirt was a 7 and 1 reduction and a 7 and the other reduction. So his shirt, the word was a 7-7. I was standing next to him, and then that I thought that was pretty funny. Thomas was throwing a little bit of, because sometimes I think he likes to fuck with me,
He already knew.
Yeah.
He was on Sunday, man. Someone started fucking with him about him being a Freemason, and he leaves for a second and comes back with his fucking hat. It's funny, man. I love it. But yeah, dude. So what's some new stuff? Like, you told me there was tons of new shit, and I'm sure people, guys, like I said, fucking give us some shit. Give us some shit. And we'll try to make sense out of it with what John Lee was talking about. We'll try to find that.
Well, 77 million people voted for Trump in this last election, right? 77 million. The West Side shooting in Jonesboro, it happened right before Columbine.
Let me look it up.
Let me check my notes real quick too.
Yeah, here, I'll look it up just in case. Oh, alrighty. West Side School. And that's my wife about that. She's from Arkansas.
Yeah, it'll be fun for you to find it in real time. Actually, that's always good. I can't remember that one, Nancy. For some reason, that one's eluding me. But I do remember the shooting, but I don't remember where the 77 is or if I found it there. Most recently, the ones I found were in a bunch of movies. I mean, I watched 12 movies in a row, and it was there.
Hold on. You're fucking with me right now.
Come on, Jules. Come on, let us have it. I'm not even shocked. Jules.
Hold on. Get the fuck out, dude.
What is it? Come on.
I'm sharing this. Let me share it. This is real.
In real time. It's always in real time, guys.
Look at the age, guys. Okay. Well, fucking almost, dude. I'm pretty sure 11, 13, 12, 12, 11, 11.
Whoa. Is it? No, it's not. I don't think it adds up. I don't think it adds up, does it?
I don't know. I can't do math then. It almost.
No, it's 80. It's 80, I believe. It adds up to 80. But you're on the right track. You are on the right track. The one that I found recently, people that I just now remembered, I was driving, me and my cousin were leaving work, and I saw a bunch of rusted rebar at the job site. And it made me think of the apartment complex in Florida that collapsed. Right? You guys remember that? I think it was 2021. It was called Sunnyside or Sunny, but the address is 8777. And I was driving and I asked my cousin, I was like, will you look this up for me real quick so I don't forget? I go, and you know what to look for. And we're driving and he just looks it up. He's like, address, and puts his phone down. And that's how fast it took him. He's like, address. And he just set his phone down.
777 Collins Avenue.
Yeah.
Collins.
Which is my wife's maiden name, by the way. So when I sent her that, she had to laugh.
I was just throwing out the fucking bloodline family name. The Collins family.
But you'll see it in a bunch of movies and everything. Like, for example, I was just, I jailbroke the Grok AI somehow, and I got to start telling me where all these 77s were. It said, he opens up a magazine and the 40-year-old virgin, and it was like 77 ways of how to pleasure your partner. It was in Shawshank Redemption, on a book, on the spine. Now I got to double check these ones because obviously the AI will lie to you all the time, but it seemed very consistent with what it was saying. And then I did confirm a bunch of things. There was like a movie called 77 Chances, Airport 77, another movie called 77, another movie called Modelo 77, another movie called 77, another movie called 1977, a documentary called Firestorm 77. Here's a movie called 5/25/77, Hunter Raleigh 77. It's 77 Heartwarmings, Code 77. These are all movies. 77 Sunset Strip. That's a show. Yeah, that's an old show. Here's a book by Dean Koontz called 77 Shadow Street. Here's an Audible book that's something about the history of the 77th Infantry Division. I mean, the list goes on and on. You know what I mean? You know, the second most favorite one that I found next to the dinosaur one, which, by the way, I'm going to have to, give Sam a little bit of a hard time here because I send you guys stuff. Right. And I have,
we're all in a group together.
Whoever. I send people stuff. Right. And people forget constantly. But I have like a photographic memory for what people send me because I look at it right then. Right. I don't really wait. I'll look. Lieber 77. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Book 77. Yeah, that's Crowley. And I look at it right then. And Joe Rogan was saying, oh, we found a bunch of iridium. It proved the dinosaurs were hit by an asteroid. And you look up the atomic number of iridium and it's 77. They got it and everything, right? And then on MSNBC, I heard Rachel Maddow go, you think women got it fair? The pay gap is still 77 cents to the dollar.
I remember that one. And then
so the dinosaur one's definitely my favorite. And then
I think Chabad Lubavitch, their address is
777. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 770.
Yeah, 770. Yeah,
New York.
the World Jewish headquarters in New York.
There you go, guys. Hold on, somebody. Meat Cavern just said the Hard Rock Hotel that was under construction and collapsed in New Orleans. Well, let's see. Hard Rock Hotel. So where do you see 42 a bunch?
You'll see it. You'll see it all over. Like, for example, the Group 77 headquarters, which is like a United Nations group, which is like, to me, it's so crazy how they have a group called G7, G77. It's Group 77. The United Nations literally is a Group 77. And their headquarters is 154 stories tall, which is 77 plus 77, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts at 42nd Street.
Oh,
Right. So you'll see it and stuff like that. But you'll see, I was watching a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Raw Deal the other day from 1986.
yeah.
And he walks across the street and it's very clearly on a car because it's a front license plate, not a rear license plate. It says 4242.
Of course it does, dude. Yeah, I think we had talked about.
And the bus in the beginning said bus 77. So they already got their 77 in the beginning and they got their 4242 pretty much in the beginning. And you watch these movies and the way that the numbers show up, it's not a coincidence, man. It's like nothing happens on an accident in movies. You got a million editors, you got a million eyes, they know exactly what mile marker they want to put in Roadhouse.
Someone in that movie, if they're in the production team or set design or whatever, one of them is probably an occultist, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially out. So I think we had talked about before that the movies A24, right, are like cursed movies, supposedly, and that's 42 backwards.
Yeah, and I've been dissecting those movies like crazy. And one that I saw the other day was Heretic. And on the door.
Well, it talks about Pyman, right? One of the princes.
No, that's Hereditary. This is a newer one where Hugh Grant, pretty much. Well, spoiler alert. Hugh Grant pretty much like traps these girls in his house, and they're.
Hugh Grant, really?
Yeah, Hugh Grant's like the bad guy, right?
That's crazy. He's
like pretty much
the dude that's in love, like the stupid Brit that's in love.
right. He did a good job, but on the door, on this special door, is the same 7-sided star that Crowley pushes with that has the 77s in the star. Like if I sent you the logo, but
did.
It's the same exact logo that's on the door, right? So they don't really have 77 in the movie, but they have the same exact thing. They have the 7-sided star that has all the 77s in it.
Let me
I'll send it to your I'll send it to your text right now.
Well, you know how it is with my phone. We tried to do that last time and I had to get up and okay, so
do you have an email?
The visual of Crowley. Here we go. I'm gonna pull this up. I can pull this up. I just found a little something. Yeah,
this one on your wallpaper right here, that's the Thelema one. So that one's a little bit different. Yep, there it is right there. And that is on the door. Now, obviously, they don't have the 77s on there, but you got the eye in the middle. You had the 7-sided star. And remember, Venus is another way of saying 77. And it's also, 42. And it's also symbolized as a 7-sided star. So there's a lot of connections with this symbol and 77 and 42, just, the more you go down it.
Stephen King is 77 until September. Maybe something will happen to him.
Nancy, interesting you brought that up. He wrote The Shining in 77. And
shit. That's wild. Sorry. I'm reacting to this shit, man. Every time we do something together, when when you've been on here before, I always figure something else out about this shit. And it never ceases to amaze me.
And then remember in the movie, there's 42 cars in the parking lot. And in the movie, they're really pushing the number 42 like crazy in the movie The Shining. It's really nuts how she's like wearing the Summer of 42 shirt. Like they make like 6 or 7 references to the number 42 in the movie The Shining. And the book, even though the movie came out in 1980, the book was released in 1977. Elvis died in 77. He was 42 years old.
Get the fuck out. Really? Hold on.
Yep.
I gotta
Yep.
confirm this because
For sure.
you know.
And you remember he
I
changed.
think
He was a
they
magician.
value, but we just gotta be. Oh my god, that's
He was an occult. He was an occult magician.
dude. He dressed. He always had a Blavatsky book in his hand, always reading the Secret Doctrine. I think. And
Yeah, there are stories about him like changing the wind. Like people like would watch. Like there's some crazy
summoning
stories about.
fucking UFOs. Did you hear that story that his friend told that like they saw a fucking UFO and he basically showed up 3 houses down being like, it's okay. They'll be back. Yeah. So yeah, August 16th, 1977. Let's see how old he was. Yeah, he basically thought he was an ascended master, but he wasn't that guy. Hold on.
There's also another studio called 42 Studios. So I think you're definitely right with the A24 studios and the 42 studios. Like there's really a lot of worship to 42 and 77 in all these movies. Obviously 33 is in there a lot. Like I watched a movie the other day and there was so many 33s. Like the victim was 33. That it was what was it? It's called Snowman. Yeah, Snow.
Was Elvis Presley a telepathic demigod who could heal the sick and change the weather?
Yeah, exactly.
No, okay, look at his outfit. Yeah, dude. Is that Quetzalcoatl, guys? Me and Adrian, my fucking co-host for Elohim Etymology, which new episode next week. Episode 11 will be. I'll probably put that out tomorrow for everyone who's not a Patreon member. But this basic dude. What's up, girl? Hey. Hey.
Hello.
John Lee said hey. He said hello. He said, hey.
In my high pitched, annoying Michigander voice.
Nora's still like, wait, where's the game?
Hi.
Hey.
Hold on.
How's it
I'm about
going?
to put it so she can hear you for a second.
Wait, my phone might mess it up.
Well, no. John, talk.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you saw Joel's recent 8-hour stream, but if you did and you saw the end of it, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I was supposed to be on, but we got our times mixed up, so I ended up missing.
Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What are you guys talking about?
Right now, we're talking about Elvis being an occult demigod.
And trust fund dork fuckery.
Trust fund dork fuckery,
Oh,
Crowley,
nice.
and
I
a
watched
bunch
one
of.
of Elvis's movies recently. Well, I saw him years ago, but
Well, he died in 1977 at age 42. And we're talking about the Dark Mother being the number 42, which represents Ishtar.
oh really?
And then 77 representing Semyaza.
Uh-huh.
You know who that is,
Dude,
obviously.
yeah,
Yeah. And so
Yeah, it's everywhere.
dude, like, oh, it's just wild when you really start to pay attention to it. And so sometimes I'm like, is this my brain just like overworking because I've trained my brain to like pay attention to this now? But I'm like, no, dude, everything is numbers. It's so mind-boggling.
When Jules gets my book, read it, and then you'll really get a handle on how much they're doing this every day in our face, and like the smallest things, from tools to movies to laws to high impact events. I mean, I was watching a commercial and they're like, you must weigh 77 pounds to take this medicine. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's like the 33% off with sales.
oh yeah.
Why do they always choose 33%?
Yes, it's even worse with 77 in my opinion. Like 30,
Really?
yeah, it's
Now.
way worse, and it's like more in the high impact events. Like they use it like where there's a lot of death.
That said hey to me. Hey, Nancy. Hey, where's coming out?
Hey, Babylon.
Oh, hey, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Be mom. Come on.
Love you.
Wait, hold on. Really fast. I should show you one thing.
She has to show me one thing, John.
Don't say anything out loud.
What's up? That's my drumsticks. Oh, hold on.
Sorry. All right, we're going. Hold on.
My daughter wanted to
Don't say anything out
come
loud.
out here, John. Give me 2 seconds.
Listen.
What's up? From who?
Look at me. Look.
He goes to our church? That's wild.
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Come on,
Crazy,
Nora.
dude.
Come on.
People are wild. I'm gonna put you back in the headphones so I can hear you better. Nora, get out from under the drums bed.
Let me put this down.
My daughter's underneath my drum set right now. Baby.
I know you're small, so you like to get small spaces. It's so fun. Come here. Oh, sweet baby.
Love you.
So I love you, Dada Nana.
Night night, baby. All right.
All right, we're back. We're locked in.
We're back. She tried to be the heel. No. Yeah, she came on the anniversary show and had a few beers, and one of my co-hosts, Conspiracy Extremists, as well as the audience, decided to start messing with her, and like kind of like this right here.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes, but she didn't crash out too hard. She just kind of she left and didn't come back, which is okay. We you know, it was a fun. We were on for 8.5 hours. So I had fucking Thomas on. I had Nate on. I had Jacob from Cult of Conspiracy. I had Brad Lale on, the 33rd Parallel guy. I'm sure that's who you know him as. Cheney, Top, and Raven. Toad from Tower Gang came on. A bunch of people came on. So this is a good time. Like I said, we're gonna have to do more of those. Yeah, they going to bed. But no, let's look at this real fast, because now I'm kind of, according to a lively new book, the king of rock and roll claimed to be a faith healer from Jupiter's 9th moon, who as a boy was given a future vision of himself in a white jumpsuit by aliens. Holy shit, dude. What month did he die in?
You said August, didn't you?
August. I was gonna say, if it was January, then that would be, Janus, Jupiter. In his heroic yet tragically short life, Elvis was many things to many people. Yeah, we know. So hold on. Someone says he was a multifaceted seeker. Hold on. Says Miguel Connor, who became obsessed with the king after an ayahuasca ceremony in 2022. Ayahuasca being a psychoactive drink often used in cleansing rituals. Yeah, okay. Someone who sought the larger questions of life. He was a man of prophecy, of experience, and my thesis is that he was the greatest magician in Western civilization. Dude, if he was still alive, he'd be running for president with fucking MAGA on his head, probably. So since he's not, Trump is that magician. Connor makes this argument in The Occult Elvis, The Mystical and Magical Life of the King, a book that gathers material from sources including Priscilla Presley, the clique of Presley's associates known as the Memphis Mafia. Nice. Just, I think, like down the line turned into the Dixie Mafia. And spiritual advisors such as his personal hairstylist and guru. It's difficult to tell how much Connor has his tongue in his cheek, and this is also how his book. Okay, a sort of a spiritual biography peppered with Connor's own theorizing and lashings of Jungian analysis.
Of course.
Of course. That's wild, dude. When was Elvis born then? So I'm trying to find something. Fuck, that's wild, bro. Let's see. So did you watch the Grammys or anything? I didn't. I didn't know.
No, I didn't. I just
Holy shit, dude. He was born in January. He was born in fucking January. He was born in January. So him being from the ninth moon of Jupiter has all to do with Janus or L, right? It's translated a few different ways. You know how pantheons are, but
right. In my opinion, it's all meant to be confusing so that we don't really know, because they tell you in these movies where they're always doing spiritual warfare. First, you have to say Jesus, a million times for the entity to tell you his real name, and then you can have power over it once you know the real fucking name. I think, that there's a lot of truth to that, because supposedly there was 77 generations between Adam and Jesus.
He said, so 77 isn't always an evil connotation.
I think they try to rebrand it. They try to rebrand it so that they use it for something bad. Yeah.
Intention Meat Cavern. Wasn't the first civilization fucking retarded. Wasn't the first civilian computer released for sale in 1977. Let's look that up. This occult Elvis thing, dude. Oh man, it talks about Crowley on it.
Oh shit, go down just a little bit and there's that motherfucker. I'll fight that motherfucker.
For charity?
For nothing.
For nothing.
For just a beat, just because I think that trust fund dorks really need their ass whooped. Like, all of them just need a good ass whooping. Like, I had my ass whooped so many times in my life, and I think that was good for me. It built me to who I am, and I think that a lot of these guys just need a real good ass whooping. I think fucking Crowley and a lot of these trust fund dorks really need that. And
Absolutely.
I got plenty of extra time to slap some trust fund dorks around if they're ever interested.
Yeah, treat him like a bitch. No, he was basically an MI5 agent, right?
Right.
Just like John D, who established the Enochian language. Him and Edward Kelly, but they were fucking each other's wives and fucking each other. But
no, more like Edward Kelly was fucking John D's wife, but John D was too old to be fucking anybody.
He was getting cucked out. But,
yeah, he was definitely cucked out for sure.
But basically, he was like, I don't know. It's like Crowley took that role up, maybe, of being like, the head chaos magi. Yeah,
I think that he really wanted to be, Semyaza's, chief, master sergeant, like in his mind.
He wanted to get
that's
by Semyaza.
Yeah, he's yes, he wanted to bite the pillow for Semyaza for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Presley with 200. Okay, so yeah, dude, this is wild. We need to do an episode on Elvis, bro. Me and you can do it. We can invite a couple other people.
Oh wait, that threw me off again. I saw 42 again, but no, they're just talking about when he died.
They're talking about he died at age of 42, guys. Sorry, pop up.
And one thing I wanted to let your viewers know, because there's a lot of things happen in 1977, right? And I try not to count anything that happened in 1977 too much, because we all had to live through that year. If you were alive, it had to happen. You know what I mean? So, I guess you could count anything in that year, but I try not to. So like things like Star Wars, and when they released a movie, like obviously those things are the obvious. I don't need to write that stuff in any books or anything like that. If people are interested in like searching what happened in 1977, they can. But I think sometimes, like when it comes to like a legend like Elvis, who died in 1977 at the age of 42. Yeah, I think that was on purpose. And they're getting two quotas in one, kind of like when there's a shooting and then they make a documentary called 77 Minutes about the shooting that lasted 77 minutes. Like it's a twofer. Right? You're like, don't worry, we're going to be able to come back to this later with a documentary.
Pillow biting demon faggots, aka every gay. Let's see. So you didn't watch the Grammys?
No.
Nancy. I think Nancy did you send me something on the Grammys? Like some of the symbolism or whatever that was used.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was overwhelming. I mean, they're going to get so many quotas in there. I just like only have time for so much stuff, and like those occult rituals that they do for these rewards that they give to these millionaires and these trust fund dork homunculus little beings that they're creating to, like, you know, social engineer everyone. I really just don't get into it. Like, I'm wearing a Lions hat, right, because I live in Detroit, but
Yeah.
I wasn't too sad when the Lions lost. Everyone was crying and throwing shit. I was kind of laughing. I was like, bread and circus, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I don't get too into it if the millionaires don't win their little game. You know what I mean? They're all good. They're driving around in Range Rovers, but you know, they've got their Rolex watches and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I just want to write more books. I mean, after writing that one, I'm already starting on my second one. And if I have extra time, it's either, you know, making posters, which I enjoy doing, you know, like I made you some posters just because I enjoy doing them.
Background that I have right now. So fuck yeah, brother.
And spending time with my family or training, and maybe I'll get another fight. You know, I'm not retired, so, you know, I'm not going to be one of those guys that says they're retired, like every single person I know, and then comes out of retirement and does a second retirement. You know, I'm just like not going to say anything, just wait patiently because I don't need to draw attention to myself for retirement. Oh my gosh, what is this?
Grammy. I'm looking at completely wrong things. Yeah, this is a giant, like mass ritual. There's no fucking doubt about it.
What's that sound?
Oh no, it's a video? I guess they can't, maybe they can't change music. I don't know. Okay. Wait, so who the fuck is Doji? Hold on. Hold on. I can't do that again. I thought that was not.
Yeah, I don't really see that. I think that's a reach. Like I said, I think a lot of people are reaching for a lot of stuff, and I just try to let things come to me. You know, like I don't really go searching for things. Like I let them come to me.
Well,
and
like the January thing with Elvis, right? Like I didn't even expect to find that. That's just
right.
weird.
And I think that's how synchronicities work, and that's how you truly like follow the spiritual detective trail. Is you follow the synchronicities, and if they come to your brain right then, that's when you research it. Not so much always, because when I found Uvalde, right, like a video popped up and I saw a bunch of cops throwing up, and then I thought to do it right then. I wasn't like researching it, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, you know, fucking around, and then all of a sudden something came to me, and I was like, "Ooh, I haven't looked that one up yet. I should do that right now." And there's a lot of power in that, you know, the power of now. You know, there's a book I have right out here. Hold on, let me grab it.
Let me grab it. Deity. Now I'm looking into Janus, everybody. Roman god of beginnings, endings, transgressions, and doorways. Let's see.
I'm constantly buying books.
I need to buy more books.
But I bought this, pretty much for my daughter, but I read it, but it's called The Power of Now. And I've always said there's no day but today. That's one of my phrases I always came up with, that I use, to try to stay the course as much as possible. And yeah, I think there's a lot of power in when something comes to you right then. That's your moment to find it. That's your moment to retain it and remember it. And I think that's why I remember a lot of these numbers and all these events that people, a lot of people forget. For example, when Joe said that about Iridium, that was totally Sam's chance to be I'm so glad you brought up Iridium because there's this 77 thing going on that we need to address. And he could have went over the Pentagon. He could have went over 9/11. He could have went over Oklahoma City. The two biggest mass rituals are all you need, in my opinion. All you need is 9/11 and Oklahoma City to realize that there's no way that those events happened like that. And you could have 12 77s integrated in the entire narrative like that. For example, and we'll just go over this one more time just for these two events, Oklahoma City, the building opened in 1977. It sits right next to Route 77. Timothy McVeigh was arrested 77 minutes after the bombing in his 1977 Ford Mercury. They used aluminum powder, according to the FBI and the ATF, which increased the power of the bomb by 77%. Terry Nichols was arrested with a cache of guns. There were 77 guns in that cache. And I had to go to the court document to find that. And then in 9/11, they built the Pentagon 77 feet high. 9/11 is exactly 77 months after Oklahoma City. It's completely impossible for, Flight 77 to be in the air for 77 minutes to hit the wall that's 77 feet high, which is on the coordinates of 77 degrees, and not be on purpose. And when you got construction involved, which we know how much planning goes into construction, there's no way that you could have construction 77s and then just so many random 77s and it not be some sort of plan. And if you truly believe that's a coincidence, trust me, you're not meant to help forward the human race. You're just here for substance. You're an NPC, or you just can't comprehend statistics that are impossible, because I can tell you it's just impossible. And every detective that I've showed my book to now knows that that they're just obsessed with this number and all of this is bullshit. And they keep sending me stuff every day. It's nuts it's 3 detectives, and he was watching Silo. And in the show Silo, there's a big reveal. There's a big code, and the code is 77 at the end of the episode. It's a big reveal. You know what I mean? And him and his wife look up as they're reading the book. They're passing the book back and forth and they're watching the show. And then they look at each other like, this is so fucking crazy, right? But it's not crazy because it's everywhere. It's saturated in your universe and you just never saw it because you're not conditioned to pay attention to hidden things. You're conditioned to pay attention to the things that are presented to you. And this is why exoteric and esoteric are such important words, because the esoteric is the real stuff. That's what they keep for themselves while they present.
You can't see with your eyes, right? What you don't really, you have to kind of find it.
Well, I think, in the way they use it, it's more what's real is what they know and what they present is not real. Right. And it's kind of like that. They live movie, where you have to put on the glasses to see the truth, but it's more like you just have to start paying attention to know what ancient symbols they used every day, and you'll realize this is ancient trust fund dork fuckery. That's why they have the caduceus on the ambulance. That's why all the medical symbols are the serpent going up the staff, because this is all part of their language. Why they teach us A, B, C, D. You know, they're talking in Semyaza, they're talking in Ishtar, they're talking in 4277 and seven-sided stars and Saturn symbols. You know, that's how they talk to each other. And they don't spend money.
What's the seventh planet from the sun? Saturn, right?
I don't know. Good question.
It may be. It may be the 6th. So there's something to that.
I think it is the 6th, actually.
Okay. Well.
But regardless, you know, I think the Greek gods, these Roman gods, are just the fallen angels, and everything is about rebranding. And they obviously made deals with these entities to be in charge of this realm, and this is a family thing, you know, so they have to keep it in the family. And there's Conor McGregor, for example, just became a billionaire, right? And he's the most famous fighter, you know, a billionaire fighter. He was playing a celebrity soccer game in the United Kingdom. What number was he wearing?
Get the fuck out of here.
77.
No, hold on.
I sent it to you guys.
And I mean, this all could just be. Could this just be a coincidence, or?
I mean, no. I think it's him letting everyone know, like, yeah, I'm in the group now. I'm a billionaire. I've initiated, and you know, that's why he's so fucking weird now. He's always coked up. I mean, you see him like taking deep breaths just at the table. Like something's going on with that guy.
Yeah.
Something's definitely going on with that guy. And, you know, I mean, it's everywhere. I was driving to Chicago and I drove by a casino. They're like, special prize, 77,000, you know, and that was for Firekeepers Casino, which is a play on Prometheus. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's very interesting. And I got that from Thomas. Shout out to Thomas that pointed out that Firekeepers is a play on the Prometheus, you know, story, which is some more fallen angel fuckery.
It's I believe a
Lucifer story.
Well, yeah. Well, I believe you know how I read into the Anunnaki and stuff. I think Inky is basically the Lucifer archetype. And there's a lot of egg symbolism going on lately. You have the egg craft, you have eggs that are like, out of stock or whatever. And my co-host Adrian, my co-host of Elohim Etymology, his research has kind of led to Inky was an egg birth, like he was of reptilian origin or something, right? And so I don't know, like this new age being the age of Horus, the Aeon of fucking Horus is basically that same side of fallen angels, right? Let's see. But Inky's son, one of his sons, Gibble, was the god of fire. And so, and like Prometheus is, and you can interpret it different ways as far as him bringing fire to humanity, him bringing knowledge, right? Because we know there's a lot of symbolism for fire in the esoteric. But so do you think there's going to be anything going on with the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, I mean they're going to do a ton. There's going to do a ton of shit. What it is and what that means for them, only they know, right? I mean, like, you know, we can only speculate as much as possible. But it's like the one girl. It's like the one girl said, Savali, that taught at the Illuminati school, and it was one of the most interesting interviews I ever listened to. While we're learning history, science, and you know, stuff in school to indoctrinate us, this whole billionaire, I mean, they've got private schools where there's an entire school of billionaire kids all learning alchemy, ritual magic.
Absolutely.
And this entire esoteric life that is essentially the equal to the civilization that's under our ground. I mean, you got trucker
Steiner schools, right? Like really, I mean, you don't really know about these things, but people talk about them all the time. Dude, yeah. And fuck.
It's a whole nother world out there. And I liken it to how the trucker drove from Kansas City to Las Vegas underground. And I try to tell people that, and they're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? I'm like, literally, there's underground civilization right underneath us with caverns and all sorts of shit that's ancient, with tunnels where many trucks can drive from Kansas City all the way to the Los Angeles airport. That is not bullshit. That's literally, he gets out. He's like, guys, I just drove from Kansas City to Las Vegas underground, and I had to turn my phone off the whole time. And now I'm out, and I'm letting you know that, I mean, he could be lying, but what he drove out of seemed pretty fucking underground, real to me. So,
yeah,
you know, and what were they taking? They're taking food to all these underground bunkers. So Sam had an episode with a guy on not too long ago that was talking about the Getty, right? And he's talking about how there's this underground civilization that's
children. Yeah.
Right. And the civilization pretty much starts at the Los Angeles airport, and it's called the Getty. And you pretty much can go anywhere underground in the country forever, and you never see the light of day. And what does it say at the entrance of the Getty? It says,
holy shit, look at this, John Lee. Hold on, brother.
It says, when the Goyim try to rise up against us, we will reset them again.
Oh shit. So it's the Jews?
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I'm going to say is he said something like that. Maybe I thought I heard Goyim. I'm not even fucking around. But
I think you probably did hear Goyim. I'm pretty sure, dude.
Or with the herd or something like that. It's like when the herd or the chattel.
It means the same thing, right?
Right. Exactly. But it was something like that. When they try to rise up against us, we will reset them again. And he said that's at the entrance to the Getty. Right. And then he's trying to get this thing called Storm the Getty, kind of like Storm Area 51.
That happened, but didn't the Getty burn down?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hold on. Sorry, I keep interrupting. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that this guy, every time I haven't really been listening to podcasts too much since I started my book and finished it. I'm just getting back into that too. But this was one of the ones I most recently heard on Tinfoil Hat. And, Elon Musk gets 77% approval from shareholders. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Here, let me take a picture of that real quick so I don't even have to fucking... Boom. Thank you. See, and that goes right in the folder. And in my opinion, this is exactly how they do it. This will show up everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter what you research. It's always going to show up. And in my opinion, it's this worship of Semyaza, which has been rebanded by Crowley as the goat of Mendes, aka the Baphomet. And now you see this Baphomet showing up everywhere and Saturn showing up everywhere. And they're just different versions of the same entity. Just like, you know, one person calls God, another person calls God Allah. I mean, you know, it's the same. It's God. There's only one creator, right? So we can argue about the name all you want, but in the end, there's only one creator. You know, if the creator created everything, that's the creator. Call the creator whatever you want, but it's the creator, you know? So,
yeah. Miraculously, the Getty was untouched, but everything around it burned down. Well, when you get into Allah, dude, and you think about the moon god Sin, the Islamic, the symbol being the crescent moon, right? And then they do the Hajj around the black cube of Saturn,
which is also on top of Trump Tower, by the way, people. So don't get it twisted. And if you visit all the colleges around the country, they have this black cube of Saturn, like pretty much in the diag or the central located place of a lot of these colleges. You know, you search up black cube of Saturn everywhere, you'll see that this black cube of Saturn is everywhere, and it's 77. I mean, it's the same exact, it's just another way of putting 77. So they're doing it with a number, they're doing it with a symbol, they're doing it with several symbols. They're doing it with the Saturn symbol, they're doing it with the cube symbol, you know, and what's the little hats that the Anastasies, the non-Anastasies wear? They wear the little hat with the black cube on top of it. You know what I mean?
About I forgot what it was, but yeah, it's what the Hasidics fucking wear. I'm pretty sure.
So there's a lot of this referencing going on, and in my opinion, this is all the same, you know, two birds of the same feather type shit. It's all just trust fund dork fuckery.
Absolutely, dude. But I mean, and when they do the, you know, yeah. Absolutely, Z man. It's good to see you, man.
Oh fuck!
But dude,
Oh fuck! That's a good one.
He's always dropping bangers. They do the Hodge around the fucking cube, and there's the meteorite that's inside in the glass that or in its plaster, whatever it is, keeping it in there, and they're all kissing it and fucking licking it and all that shit. It's just, and while they're going around the cube, they're conjuring up energy. It's the same things that the Native Americans did when they would dance around the fire before a war, right? That they would dance and they would chant this shit and fucking conjure up spirits, right? To take over them while they went to war. The Vikings did it too. But they would like drink, you know, potions and shit to fucking have outer body experiences and meet Odin and then go back and you know, kill 200 Saxons or whatever. Let's see. The African American cube, excuse me, Z-Man. But yeah, I don't know, man. Oh yeah, I was gonna share this real fast.
Yeah, that seven-sided star isn't Crowley's star. That's John Dee's star. And
oh shit.
Yeah, that is John Dee's star, and so that's Crowley just rebranding it, like I said. And then if you look up something about the first,
already putting a connection between them two. So
yeah, and like Crowley talks really highly of that. I mean, he's all about that guy. You know what I mean? And something about, he says 7 times 7 angels is what in the Enochian text. It's something. So maybe that's where they get 77 from or something. Maybe that's where he gets 77 because John Dee says something about a 7 times 7 angel square or something like that. I don't know, but you know, who knows? We can only speculate as much as possible. All I know is for sure is that they are worshiping this number and they're putting it in everything from statistics to movies to, you know, you can name anything, you know, people, and you know, we'll find it probably.
Yeah.
There's a 77% chance it's in there.
Dude, yeah, I have to get that book from you because I really like learning about this shit too.
Well, I'm getting,
text me, or you know, you send me a message every time you find something new. I'm sure there's some shit in there that I haven't seen.
yeah, and I know I overwhelm people because, you know, I'll send stuff.
Please. No, it's fine. I need to be overwhelmed.
There's a lot of people that thought I was crazy at first, and they're like, God, he's so crazy with this shit. But now they're sending me stuff. You know, they're sending me stuff. They've been totally converted, and they realize that I can't keep being right in real time over and over again. There's obviously some sort of obsession with this number. What is it? Well, at least this is what Crowley tells us it is. Like, for sure. He tells us this is that.
Hey, love you. You good? All right. You really had to do that? One more time. Thanks, babe. Yeah. Love you. All right, dude. Yeah. My wife was showing me her tits. So. Twice. Oh, got
Well,
a
I wish my wife was showing me her tits right now. So there you go.
Wait a minute. Joey, I don't know what this means. Joey Poop Bag with a $5 Rumble rant. Jules, was John alive in 77? And does Gee know he named after one hit wonder country singer? Who the fuck? John, when were you born?
82.
Yeah, Meaty, you're off by 5 years, bud. Close. You almost got it. No, not Meaty. That was Joey.
Yeah, that's funny.
Fucking Joey Poop Bag. Let's see. I was gonna share this real fast before I forget. Guys, Sunday we're having Toad on. Me and Conspiracy Extremists are having Toad on after the Super Bowl for our Sunday show. So y'all be sure to come hang out. It'll be like 9:30 Central. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
My friend is one of my friends is a Navy SEAL, and he went to a Texas Rangers like charity event, and they gave him a jersey, a special jersey. Guess what number was on the jersey?
77.
Of course. So, I mean, how could the Trust Fund Dorks give anyone anything without having their worshiping number on there? Right. And of course he's bent out of shape, because he knows what I'm saying about it, and he's not happy about it. But that's what I'm talking about. Myers the other day had an advertisement, 7 for $7 items. Right.
Wait, what was
Meyer? Meyer?
I don't know Meyer. What's that, like Steinmart?
Myers like Publix or Walmart. It's like Walmart.
Kroger or something. Oh, it's like Walmart.
Yeah, it's like Walmart. So there's so up in the Midwest we got Meyer, and they had a 7 for $7. Here's the picture of
here, man.
It's a 7 for $7.
And of course, you had to see it, right?
Well, yeah, of course. And then just the other day, something popped up on my Instagram, and that was this guy winning $77,000 at the casino. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they're doing this all the time, and obviously, there's other numbers that they worship, but they clearly worship 77. Like the guy that shot the CEO, he was following Luigi Magnoni or whatever his name is.
Maggioni or something.
Yeah. Mangione.
I don't know.
When he was arrested, he was following 77 people on Twitter, and his family is a billionaire family. They opened a old folks home franchise, right? So it's like an elderly franchise home thing. They're all over the country. They opened their business in 1977. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's always in the story. Maybe that's why they use that family. I don't know. But the L'Oreal or whatever is the name of the company. And they opened in 1977.
Have you looked in the Book of Enoch where it mentions him, or it mentions Semyaza? And
yeah, I have the book. I have the Book of Enoch. I've read it twice, and it's really hard to follow. It's the way they speak. It's like you have to read
a lot, though. So maybe I'll skim through there. sometime soon and see if I can find anything.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing like 77 directly that was used in like some clever way that I remember. You know what I mean? But they did talk about portals. It talked about giants. It talked about the flood. It talked about watching what God was doing to these, scared the angels just to watch what was happening. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of crazy stuff in the Book of Enoch. And I use the Book of Enoch mainly just to talk about my version of how I'm going to talk about the fallen angels. So instead of using Marduk or Zeus or Saturn, I'll use Semyaza just because I prefer to talk in that language, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No, see, I'm just a fucking Pantheon nerd.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not married to the Book of Enoch or any of these names. And, I could be wrong on a lot of this stuff because I think that they purposely confuse you as much as possible. Like I said, so you don't know.
That's what Wikipedia does. Definitely, dude.
And like in the movie, The Pope's Exorcist, he goes, "Tell me your name, Satan." And the demon refuses to tell him the name. Number one, if we're fighting Satan, why does he need to know the name of the entity if he just called it Satan? Well, I try to remind people that Satan means the adversary, and it's just like this is just the enemy.
It's
right?
Like Baal means Lord, right?
But so many people get hung up on this word Satan,
You're right.
And they think that we're fighting Satan. We're fighting Satan.
Which one?
I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about? So,
yeah, dude.
Right. So that adds to the confusion, right? And so, yeah, they're purposely always trying to confuse you so you don't know the name, so you can't combat the thing, I think, as well. If you don't know the name, and if you start getting haunted or possessed, it's like you have to figure out the name of this entity to get it away from you or whatever. And I think if that is true, that is a story that's been told so many times. I mean, these motherfuckers cannot stop making these movies. They couldn't stop. Yeah. They couldn't stop making one of these demon movies if they wanted to. There's going to be one every month, every year. It's going to be immaculate. It's going to be The Exorcist.
Right?
They're going to and they're going to remake them, and 77 will be in there, 42 will be in there, and they'll keep doing this over and over again. And to me, it's a worship. It's not no storytelling. It's a worship, and that's why these demon movies are more than anything else. But the action movies and the kid movies all have 77 too. So it's across the board, and it's also in the science, I was reading an article the other day. It was like 76 out of the 77 scientists agree that climate change articles are all pseudoscience, or it was trying to like say that climate change is real. The science, 76 out of the 77 scientists agree. Only the one guy didn't agree, so they're trying to let you know that this is where Joe Rogan comes in, and he goes, established scientists have said, and then everyone's like, yeah, it's for sure. Iridium proves that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs and that everything's millions of years old, and 77 is everywhere, even in the dinosaur narrative. Like, fuck all of you. Fuck off. Fuck you. I don't believe a word you say. And until people start explaining why this is everywhere and what they're spraying over our heads every single day, I'm not listening to a word any of these politicians are saying, any of these famous motherfuckers that aren't addressing what's going on.
Yeah, dude. Hold on. Sorry, I was trying to click out of this. I got a few tabs open now. We went a little crazy earlier. I was trying to look up everything. Do you see any 77s with all this, like, I guess you could call it recent news on Trump?
Well, just that he was, obviously 77 people voted for him. And then I was looking, I go, oh, how many days in between when he was elected and when he was inaugurated? And it was 76. I was like, oh, fuck, how did they miss that one? Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of fucked me up because I was like,
Yeah.
how did it not be 77? They left it be 76. And then the first day of Trump's day in office, he reversed 42 of Biden's executive orders.
Wait, really?
That's allegedly.
He's 78 years old. Fuck, dude. That's close.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when it's close, and then I start really thinking like, what happened there? Did someone just not be? Did someone get fired? Did someone
Did
get
they
like
not complete the ritual?
did concrete shoes? Yeah, and then what's another thing is I always think about, it's like if they don't hit this quota, what do they believe is going to happen to them? Is this just communication between each other?
I think
Or-
it may be communication at times, possibly.
You know-
as far as it being part of having some kind of dark intention or being part of a ritual, that could.
That's definitely for certain. I was watching Dexter the other day, and my son wanted to watch Dexter, so we're watching Dexter. And Dexter picks up a video camera, and he starts videotaping one of his victims. And in the left top-hand corner, it says 77 minutes of tape.
Of course, what? Dinosaurs got Jesus, Joey. I don't know where this came from. I thought he was actually like spitting some game there, but
Yeah.
All right. You motherfucker.
He's just trying to throw a curveball and momentum.
Z man.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, there you go. 77 plus 33. Something so simple that you never thought about either, right? 77 plus 33 because it's 100. You know what I mean? It's like, oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, that happens a lot. Let's see. Yeah, dude.
Remember when the fires happened, how much money did Joe Biden give to everyone? A one-time payment.
Fucking horseshoes and hand grenades. $77?
A one-time check of $770.
Wait. When was this?
Just recently with the fires, everyone got a one-time check. They made a big fucking announcement about it. And everyone that was in the fire gets a one-time check to help them get their house back of $770 just to mock you, make fun of you, and worship, get their number worship in.
You're not fucking wrong.
I know I'm not.
California wildfire victims may qualify for one-time $770.
Of course.
Okay.
And then they on the news, they said Pacific Palisades burning 770 acres. Like, now, of course, it ended up burning more. But when it was of course, they're going to make sure that they put that number in the news when they're at that juncture, right? They'll be like, oh, 200. And why would you even pick just for accounting purposes? Why would you even pick 770 as the number? Why wouldn't it be 800 or 1,000 or 750 at the very least? Why would you make it 770 just for accounting purposes? It doesn't make any sense. You're just making it harder on yourself, you know? So this is just like I'm saying, it's always there. It's more fuckery. Nobody could convince me that it's not what's going on, you know? And Crowley says it himself. He tells you when 77 and 42 are everywhere, you'll know that the goat of Mendes and the Dark Mother have arrived. And they're clearly here because you've got all of this black cube of Saturn on top of Trump. 77 million voted for him. You know, it's never ends. It's never ending.
Found it.
There you go. See? So this is what I'm talking about. Here, let me take a picture of that real quick because that's actually a better.
I got you, bro. Find it in
good.
real time, dude.
In real time, and that's what I mean. Like, and this is what scares people is they'll message me. I'll be like, "Look, don't be scared. This was going on when your grandpa was a kid. Like he didn't know. your dad didn't know. And now it's your time to make sure your kids know. And like Manly P. Hall says, when the world learns to read the language of ancient symbolism, a great awakening for humanity will happen. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. That's all this is that
Sorry.
we're learning to read the symbolism.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get everyone else on the same page. That's all it is, because we're in this together, and it's either like the Getty says, they're going to reset us, or where everyone's going to wake up, and everyone's going to have their revelation.
Right. And that doesn't mean you have to learn how to be an occultist or a chaos magician, but learn how to read their symbolism so you know what's going on, because I promise you, if you can learn how to read the occult symbolism of what they're putting out there, you'll have a better idea of what they got in store for us. Burn it all down, start this bitch.
Yeah, I mean there is something to be said.
Want to do.
There is something to be said for that, but I do think that I do think that a lot of it is scare tactics, and even the truthers, they have like acting like they're going to be able to wipe us all out. If they would have done that already. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe they have before, but I feel like so many people are waking up now that it's like, okay, well, you guys better do it soon. If you're waiting till 2030, that may be too late. Too many people might be awake, or if they have this direct energy weapon, what's it even matter? Maybe that's why they let us have our Gatling guns and our bazookas and our shit, because if they could just melt buildings and turn them into mountains, you know what I mean? This is an ancient weapon, then what's it even matter?
I was going to say, like, they're just fucking with us.
Yeah.
Right? We're their hamsters inside a cage, and they need us in a way to extract what we're putting out, right? Whatever energy we have, especially as like enlightened beings. I mean, what's better than that? Besides,
there's definitely something to that.
Baby's blood, but that's another story,
Yeah, and who knows how much of that is true in the sense of how they presented. They flood so much of they flood the information so much, like we don't know whether they're really drinking baby blood, or is it an analogy for something else. You know what I mean? Like, who really knows? We can only speculate, but I do believe that they are sacrificing human beings whenever they want and whoever they want, or at the very least telling us that these people died, and then no one ever finds them. And it's like the Challenger crew, you end up finding them now. Yeah. They're out all about, and maybe it's something like that. Like Jeffrey Epstein's on an island. Maybe he's not really dead. No one saw his body, but who really knows? I know I don't believe anything these motherfuckers present. I can tell you that.
Don't believe what they tell you. No,
if they've presented it on the TV, the only truth is the revelation of method inside the ritual. That's it. That's the only truth. Right. So they've got some truth in there somewhere. It's hidden in occult symbolism, and you may be able to decipher it, but definitely don't believe whatever the fucking story is. I could tell you that. That's all bullshit. Every time, 100% of the time, never fails.
Yeah, I have a theory that the Ormus, the shit they drink, is a mixture of gold, like monoatomic gold, and blood plasma. Yeah. It's just a theory I have in mind, but I don't know, something that I need to look into a little more. I definitely know that adrenochrome probably is the plasma. I mean, you can get it in the what are they called, the epinephrine pens, like an expired one or whatever. I'm pretty sure, like, it has the same I was going to say ingredients, chemicals in it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a never ending process of fuckery, and it's always, it's always there. I can't get through one day without seeing this worship of it right in front of me, and it's interesting that Z-Man just talked about Lush because, like you have Elohim etymology. It's always in the etymology. To me, etymology is like the cherry on top of the pyramid of truth. It's like your last level of awakening because you realize that everything that they're doing is they're making fun of you with your own language and this mocking of you with your own language so much. And it's really interesting, like Horizon comes from the Horus rising, which is, worshiping this sun god version of the fallen angel, as it comes up.
And in some stories, the fucking grandson of Marduk, so that, like I said, that same side of the pantheon, the Luciferic, those archetypes, they all fall under each other. If you look at it as like a family tree or just as different deities, incarnating as something or being worshipped as something, is over time, if you worship something enough, it becomes, even if it doesn't exist, it can turn into an egregore. It can turn into there's a lot of ways to look at it. Like when you talked about Semyaza, I don't know, we were speaking on something about him. He's interpreted to be Belial, who is like the king of hell, right? Who had a lot of, like, the sons of Belial. You'd have a lot of names for them. Pazuzu being one of those sons. So we see in The Exorcist, you see him in the Necronomicon, like one of those head demon deities. Always a dark deity. So,
yeah, I think this is all part of that 33% that fell at 33 degrees at Mount Hermon, and that's why they're into 33. And so, if we're going over the numbers one last time, 77 is Semyaza, the goat of Mendes, as Crowley says, the lead male phallus energy of the pantheon of fallen angels. Then you have your 42 Ishtar, Venus, Lilith. Lilith is a big worshipped in so much. For example, in the show Frasier from the 90s, his ex-wife was named Lilith, and he always referred to her as a demon. And then when she was in town, his spiritual friend would always have headaches, like, oh, what's wrong with my head? And like, if people put that together, it's because Lilith was in town, and she's a demon, and Fraser keeps calling her a demon. And this is how they shout out 42 in a different way, and before Eve, there was Lilith. And a lot of people don't even know that story. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother fucking like rabbit hole that people can go down, and like, I'm making everyone mad. I make science people mad. I make Christians mad. I make Muslims mad. I make other fighters mad. You know what I mean? So, I'm making everyone mad, and I'm just doing my own thing and trying to be the spiritual warrior and follow the synchronicities that come to me. And usually if I do that, I have a way better grasp and handle on what's about to come or what's going on more than other people. I got $7,000. I have 7,000 rounds of ammunition. I've got months worth of food. If anything goes bad, I'm not the one that's not prepared. At least I'm more prepared than most of the people that are just, have their, they're not prepared. Let's just say that, I've got at least a fighting chance to protect my family if things hit if the shit hits the fan, is so to say.
Yeah, dude. And that may be happening soon.
Who knows? There's a reason that they let all these fighting age immigrants, from, that were coming over to Mexico. And a lot of them were telling you right in the camera. He's like, who are you? He's like, you'll know who the fuck I am real soon. He's got tattoos all over his face. He's probably 30 years old, and he's coming over with the intention to hurt someone. He says that right into the camera and walks right over. Now, they let all these type of people over here, right? And then 77 million vote for Trump, and then he starts cleaning up the streets, right? Well, all of a sudden, there's a battle with these people, and maybe we're stuck in a what's it called? When the military take the streets, and that becomes the new normal because martial law, because we're always fighting these so many people that were let over. He blames the Biden, now Trump's hero, for trying to clean up the streets, but you're in a perpetual state of cleaning up the streets, just like the drug war. So now you never get, this is just my theory of how it could go down, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, it makes sense, especially when you start blowing up bridges that are supply chains, like the 1977 Baltimore Bridge, which is a big supply chain for that area, and, eggs, and just so many other things. I mean, if they're going to test
egg symbolism, bro, I'm telling you,
if they're going to test us, I definitely think it's going to be a COVID type toilet paper supply chain type thing. And I'll never stop saying that. I think once they make their move for reset or whatever, that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be shut down the trucks, shut down the grocery stores, and just wait it out for a little bit in their bunkers. And so many people will take care of themselves. My son sent me a picture the other day, and it was a bunch of people holding a baby dolphin, and it said the dolphin died because people wanted to take a selfie. And my son said, no wonder the elite hate us.
Damn.
And it was a very interesting perspective, right?
Damn, dude. Yeah.
And it's
really right.
And it's really interesting if you think about it like that, because I promise you, when you had grandmas fighting over who is going to put chlorine, formaldehyde, and PFAs on their butthole, which is what's in all toilet paper. If you don't buy, there's only like 3 toilet papers that they make that don't have those 3 things in it. And you had grandmas fighting over toilet paper during.
Buttholes are always so raw.
That could be from the Mississippi taco truck. But think about it from the elite perspective, Jules, for a second. Yeah. Put yourself in a billionaire's. Be like, you made toilet paper with PFAs, which is forever chemicals. All on my phone is just constantly blowing up with lawsuits, and all these people say, how could they put this in the water? I'm like, bitch, it's in your toilet paper. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so they're putting it in your toilet paper. Now they take away the toilet paper during COVID, and they watch the videos of the grandmas fist fighting over poisoned toilet paper. Think about how much you'd be laughing at the people that you despise, because they're so fucking dumb. They're fighting over fucking poisoned toilet paper. Who's going to get the poison in their butthole tonight? That's exactly what they're laughing about.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to think like, well, whose fault is it that we're this dumbed down? Well, not us, obviously. And no one watching. Guys, we love y'all. Thank you. But this information is withheld from us,
Yeah, but they don't look at it like that. They look at it as privilege. Like, they're meant to know. You're not meant to know. You're just meant to be a sheep. You're just meant to be energy. You're just meant to be an ant that you can step on. They don't care about you. They don't care if you know, but they're still gonna laugh. Just like if a fighter gets knocked out, nobody cares about how much training, how much he was away from his family, how much he sacrificed. They only cared about that guy got knocked out, and it looked funny to them because they're not knocked out right now.
Right.
So it's the same fucking thing.
No one ever thinks about it that way, though. You know.
Well, when you're trying to always get in your opponent's mind, you're always thinking about your opponent, which is me. I'm always thinking about what's going on in other people's minds, what's their perspective, and what are they thinking of when they get punched? When I'm getting punched, there's so many things going on, So this builds this type of ability to get in your opponent's mind becomes normal for you, just dealing with everyone. Right? Not everyone's my opponent, but I know what he's thinking. I know when I walk through Home Depot and everyone's talking about what they heard on the news today, I know energy is being stolen.
Right.
Because everyone's talking about fake. Everyone's talking about fake information. And I just want to be like, did you find the 77? Did you see this? Do you know what this really is? But no, I just go get what I need for the job and I leave and I let them have their fake conversation about fake shit. And they could be finding out, they could be getting closer to the Christ. They could be finding out more truth about reality. They could be jump roping. They could be studying. They could be reading a book. But no, they are all talking about fake stories, esoteric presentation, the World Wrestling Federation presentation that's been given to them, and they've bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And more than anything, Jules, I try to avoid letting my energy get stolen in that way.
Well,
and
you
I
kind of have to give it up, right? Like somehow you kind of have to offer it up to them by participating in this fucking gay shit in our culture, all this stuff they put out that people get all worked up about and butthurt. You're putting your energy out there in a way, but it is being stolen as well, against our will and against our children's will, man. They don't know any better. That's why I think it is important to fucking wake your kids up to this shit as soon as possible. My son is not ignorant whatsoever. He knows more than any other 11-year-old should probably know. Nothing inappropriate or anything, but just like basic shit, Yeah,
that's how my daughter was at 11, and now that she's 14, I mean, she's sending me stuff that she sees, you know what I mean? And before I lost my thought about
as well, you said,
yeah, he's kind of a late bloomer and everything, so he's starting to come around. But the thing about etymology that I lost my train of thought for before, and we're talking about stealing energy, is think about this. Your currency is our money, right? And like our electricity is a current, right? And then like in a river, your current is flowing through each side of the river bank. It's like, where's our currency go? It goes to the bank, and the bankers control us. The people that print the money control the current, the currency, the energy. And this is all part of that like etymology fuckery that they're doing with us all the time. There's a reason they call it the river bank. It's on each side of the river, and the river is just flowing energy. It's just energy, and they call it the current. And that's why they call it currency. And they're constantly trying to fuck with us with our etymology. And, I think I don't necessarily be careful with what I say, but once I start realizing that a word is a psyop, I might not.
Yeah, dude.
I might not use it as much as I was before consciously, right?
Well,
like, cause
yeah. The inversion of words, the inversion of symbolism. Just like we've talked about with intention and stuff, that always seems to come up in our conversations because I think it is very important. It's just like watch what you say, because words do create. You create your in a way. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like creating your own reality, not in a sense like you are God or whatever, because we know there's one creator. But as far as, you know what I mean? Like your everyday life. I just think it's important. That's why, you should stay positive. Watch what you say, especially to other people. because the consciousness that we share, you know.
And when you talk about yourself, you shouldn't talk about yourself negatively, because that energy can attach itself to you. So, you know, yeah, for sure, some Jordan Maxwell shit. And you know, his life got ruined pretty much for just trying to tell people the truth, you know, about etymology and what these secret society mystery schools, are doing to us. And that was kind of in a time before there was a lot of people telling the truth. And now there's just too many of us. Like, there's just too many. They can't control everything. So they flood the information, and they get people.
Overload.
Yeah, overload. So now people don't know whether to go up, down, left, right, flat earth, round earth, space, aliens, demons,
Red pill, blue pill, gray pill.
Gray pill. And remember, Aleister Crowley said something just before he died, which was very interesting. He said, right now, we call these things angels, these entities, angels and demons. But sometime soon, we'll call them something else. And then he dies, and then we've got, Roswell and the whole alien thing pop up pretty much right after.
All in the same, like.
It's pretty close. So, I think that that's not a coincidence. And I think that everything that these generations of these trust fund dorks now, their grandfathers really looked up to Aleister Crowley, kind of like we look up to our grandfathers and our dads looked up to their grandfathers. These guys really looked up to their grandfathers, who looked up to Aleister Crowley, who had this huge effect on everyone from the Beatles to George Bush. That's why George Bush's aircraft carrier is a Carrier 77. He had to have that number. You know what I mean? And that's why he was 77 during 9/11. There's a lot of things that they do on purpose that have to.
Gog and Magog, dude.
Right. It's all has to do with this 77 and 42 worship. And they get us to believe in the devil. They get us to believe in Satan, when it's really a male and female thing going on that we're up against. It's double duty. It's a married couple. You know what I mean? It's not some fucking some dude with red horns and a pitchfork running hell and sending out legions of demons. No, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit similar. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of the truth, and it's a lot of lies. But use your discernment, use your own skills, detective skills, and you'll be a lot better off. Don't even believe me. Go look into shit for yourself. You'll see for yourself. Be your own detective. Write a book.
Yeah, that's when it kind of resonates the best, is when you go and do your own research and you find some of this shit out for yourself. You come to these realizations that, like, holy shit, this shit is real.
Right, because the connections and the synchronicities will hit you, and you'll realize that God is talking to you. And when you say, God, why won't anyone listen to me? And then all of a sudden you're running, and Ecclesiastes 1:19 starts hitting your brain, and you're like, why am I thinking about Ecclesiastes 1:19 all of a sudden? That's weird. Like, I've never even read anything in Ecclesiastes ever. So why is my brain being overloaded with a Bible verse? It must be coming from some other source.
Well versed in the Bible.
So I stop. No, I had no idea what Ecclesiastes was at all. No, but my brain was thinking about Ecclesiastes 1:19 like crazy while I was running. And it was right after I just got done asking God, why won't anyone listen to me? And this is why I talk about this synchronicity scared me and made me feel overjoyed. It made me feel like God is more than real over and over again, because this shit can't happen. It can't be a coincidence. I go, Lord, why won't anyone listen to me about the vaccine? I know this is bullshit. I know it's just going to hurt them. And I was running. All of a sudden, Ecclesiastes 1:19 starts overloading my brain. So I stop. I go get my phone. I look it up. And Jules, I swear to God, I drop to my knees and I just start crying, because this is what Ecclesiastes 1:19 says. It says, "For more wisdom comes more sorrow."
Shit, dude.
And that's a direct answer from God using Ecclesiastes. That's a direct answer from God using Ecclesiastes to answer me directly. Because I said, why won't anyone listen to me? It's like, because you're learning more and it doesn't matter, because this is why you'll be sad.
That's crazy, dude.
And that shit happens to me every day. And that's why I trust myself more than pretty much anyone else, because I just go with the synchronicities, man. I just go where God leads me to go. And it's led me to 4 beautiful kids, a hot wife, there's multiple businesses, a professional fighter. I just wrote a book. So I think I'm if I stay the course, I'm on the right course. I'll just keep fighting for God.
Man. Do you want to hear? Hey, speaking of hot wife, I have to pee. You want to talk to my hot wife for a second?
Sure, yeah. Ask her to come in and ask me some questions about events, 77 events.
Ask him questions about events. And he'll here.
Hello, friend.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. So like I was just telling him about Ecclesiastes. Can you hear me?
What verse?
So I was asking God, why won't anyone listen to me about the vaccine? I was like, God, why won't anyone listen to me? This is a trust fund dork ritual just to hurt people. This is such
vaccine?
Right. And my whole family, not my kids, not my wife, but like my mom, my brother, my sister, all those people took it and they all got fucked up as soon as they took it. I mean,
they took it.
One had a lung problem that started up. The other had broke out in like a really bad eczema all over their body, like a rash that went all over their body. I mean, another person I know got cancer that was like a weird rare cancer almost a week after taking the vaccine. I lost like 10 clients to the vaccine that were training with me every day, and then they couldn't do workouts anymore because their heart was all fucked up. So I actually in real time, knew about what was going on and it was hurting people. And I said, God, why won't anyone listen to me? And I was running in the dome, and all of a sudden Ecclesiastes 1:19 kept hitting my brain, and I had never even read Ecclesiastes at all yet.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember what verse that is.
And Ecclesiastes 1:19, I had to look it up on my phone because I wanted to know, why is this hitting my brain so hard right now? And it was literally God answering my question in real time. It says, for more wisdom comes more sorrow.
Oh my gosh, wait, that's a verse in the Bible?
Yes.
I did not realize that was a verse. I really only knew that from like the Bukowski quote.
It's Ecclesiastes 1:19, and
wow.
it literally, like, I fell to my knees, I started crying.
Oh yeah.
And I just realized that this was God answering me directly. And this is how God will talk to you a lot. Even though a lot of the trust fund dorks have fucked with translations of this and that, and they fucked with all of the books. Right. God will, if you open these books up and you put yourself in them, God will find a way to talk to you. You just have to be open to these synchronicities. And this is what led me to write the book about the 77 worship, because I just followed the synchronicities all the way to the conclusion, which was I wrote this book exactly 77 years after Aleister Crowley's death.
Wow.
Which was an accident.
Oh, it was an accident. Wow.
Yeah, I had no clue.
Liber 77.
So his book is like an inversion.
Well,
is my assumption.
Well, what I was saying is like he's found this relation to Semyaza, and basically, it's wild. No, that's why we talk about it so much.
I'll have to listen. You don't have to repeat.
Well, here's what it is. It's what I say in my book is that the main trust fund dork from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, essentially, who's all these trust fund dorks that run the world now, their grandfathers really looked up to this guy. They worshipped him.
Looked up to Crowley.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah. I
we're
know
talking
Yes, for sure. I was very, well, I wouldn't say heavily
Dude,
involved.
when I first
read lots of
married
things
her,
when I was younger.
we went through books and she was like, we got to get rid of some of these. And I looked and I see Moonchild on top. And I'm like, holy shit. And
Stop,
like
don't
you
help
first
me.
open Moonchild and you read the story of Marduk and Tiamat and all that. And like it's
I have some kind of name amnesia. It's very difficult for me to remember names. I think it's because of the industry I work in. I meet so many freaking people doing like hair or makeup, all the things. So my brain just automatically like, I don't remember names. But
I'm
I
pretty
do
good
remember
at
that.
remembering.
Yeah, you're very, very good at remembering names. Anyways, so yeah, what are your thoughts on Crowley's work? I mean, he's a total dark magician, right?
Well, like I was saying, I think that he wanted to be, essentially the lead fallen angel, like chief on Earth, and he did everything he could to try to find truth in the way that he thought. Because let's face it, when you're a trust fund dork and all you have is money and a lot of time, you spend a lot of time doing weird shit because you don't have to give
Shit, dude.
you don't have to give your energy for a check.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't spend money like we do. They just print it. Right. While we have to spend all of our energy to actually make this fake currency that to use, so that we can. So essentially what Crowley said was when you see 77 and 42 everywhere, you'll know that the Dark Mother and the Goat of Mendes have arrived. And that's why these elite trust fund dorks today are still worshiping the 77 and 42 and Saturn, because it's all the same thing. Saturn is 77. Venus is 42. It's the same exact thing. Ishtar is Venus, is 42. Semyaza is the Goat of Mendes, is the Baphomet, is Saturn, is 77. And this is what they're into. And they get everyone to believe that there's a devil. It's a guy with a pitchfork. He's in charge. But really, it's like a married couple. It's Semyaza and Ishtar running everything, running psyops on everyone, stealing everyone's energy, using these ancient families to run this like matrix board, really, essentially.
Wow. Yeah, that's such a great way of putting it. That makes such complete sense. That's so interesting the way that you just married all of that, because all of that information in that way, that makes complete sense.
And name a famous event that like literally stole your energy. Like think about something. I want you to like think about something that you remember looking on the news and being like, I can't believe this. This is so fucked up. Like, and maybe it stole your energy for a certain amount of time. Maybe it only stole it for a second. But see,
It's like name harvesting.
No, just anything. Name anything, any huge event.
Personally,
yeah, like a huge event. Like so, most people will say 9/11, right? They'll say
young, so I don't really remember.
Right, but what is one that you remember?
I didn't know why everyone was so upset. To be honest with you,
I remember really, that I just did.
All my counselors at after school care were crying, and I was like, "Why the fuck is everyone crying?"
I mean, maybe I would say like
even when they told me like all these people died, I was like, I didn't know any of those people. Like,
I mean, I knew it was sad.
Like, I was like, no,
yeah,
dude,
but I didn't understand the significance.
Yeah, I was 18, so I just graduated from high school. Yes, so I was 19.
Really like. Did you? This is totally off topic, but did you ever read the account? I think it's somewhere on Reddit. You can definitely find it on the internet of the guys that decided to take some hits of acid the morning of 9/11 before it happened, and were on the top of a building and witnessed all of it in real time. By the way, I'm not condoning the use of LSD, but you should totally read that story on the internet. It's one of the most horrific things ever, hearing the account of someone tripping on LSD talking about.
Yeah, make sure you stick with mushrooms, because we don't know what they're putting in the LSD, guys. Come on.
Well, even if we knew what they were putting, even if we knew it was LSD, don't do it. I'm not in support of it. Speaking from personal experience.
Ruined my young brain, man.
Yeah, so I was just trying to think of like if there was something that was in your brain that kind of like stuck with you, you know what I mean? I could probably know where that
Hold on,
77 or 42 is.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Actually, this is just random. This is just me being little, and I just remember. I don't know. Never mind. I can't remember it right now. Scary stuff. I
What?
guess.
Yeah.
Just fires. There were a lot of fires somewhere, and being like 3, and just like being really scared of the TV.
Well, we were just talking about the Pacific fires that just happened, and
Okay, well, yeah, that I definitely give a lot of energy to that.
well, what did they post, Jules? They posted 770 acres burned.
770 acres burned at one. Well, I
Stop.
mean, it was more later on, but at this one point in time, the news put out 770 acres. It's like, why do they have to do it at 770?
Yeah, they could have put 750. And then how much money did Biden give everyone if their house was burnt down? A one-time payment of how much?
I think I saw this. How much-
$770.
Because
Dude,
it always
it's
goes to
so
like 750
crazy.
or 800, like everything.
Why would you do that for accounting? Just for accounting purposes alone, you would make it a more even number just to make it easier to track. Why would you make it 770? This is what I'm talking about. This is this worship that they have to do. It's some sort of quota.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Well, sorry. I'm
no,
just
go
curious.
ahead.
So, do you think? Sorry, because I haven't been here throughout.
I see where he gets it from.
earlier.
I'm just kidding.
I gotta forget. Okay, so do you
There
think
you
that like hold on, I lost my train of thought.
Any
Sorry,
any question is good too. I'm not
I
afraid to
know, I
answer any
know.
question.
I'm trying to remember what I was gonna what were you saying? Oh, okay. So do you think it's like a just they have to meet this quota, but also it's like they have to meet this quota essentially because like this is what's needed for this energy harvesting almost type of ritualistic
Yeah,
thing, right?
I think it could be a layered like an onion, like it could be several things going on. Maybe it's communication between themselves. It's like, hey, this is us, this is, without having to send an email or anything like that.
Do you think that any of them are unaware, like of what they're doing, like that they're like just a pawn, the same way that like I'd say Anton LaVey was totally possessed but didn't know it and created this whole religion of Satanism with this, basically essentially teaching his daughter and the people that knew him well that he didn't believe in any of it. He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in Satan. He just essentially
he was just LARPing to get goth chicks, really. You know what I mean? And
Some big titty goth chick.
And but the interesting thing about that, you just brought that up, is that he wrote a satanic Bible, right?
Mhm.
And he had 77 infernal names.
No shit, dude.
Wow. And so, well, I think that he was totally oblivious to everything he was doing, like truly, until when he was on his deathbed and he, professed all this shame and guilt and tried to call out to God. But it seems to me like sometimes people, when they are truly possessed, they are like in the flesh. They have such blinders on, they don't even realize what they're possessed by and what they're taking part in and what they are contributing to, and with like the fact that they're contributing their energy in this way because like they don't understand the power of words. They don't understand the power that the flesh has, but also that the spirit has. The spirit, the Holy Spirit is the end all be all. I don't think that darkness can exist at all and not light, but anyways, I don't know. That's my analogy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything. Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said, and people have to be really careful with their spiritual energy and that's why I do so much training, because the more I train, the more I jump rope, the more I'm like really sweating it out and pushing myself physically. That's like when I have my like most synchronistic thoughts with God, and it's like there's an ancient thing that the ancient philosophers said that you get closest to God when they were like wrestling, like and being super exhausted, and then they would go pray and they would go meditate after being so exhausted. And there's something about training in martial arts, and that's why I think that I spend so much of my energy doing stuff like that, because I don't want anyone to steal my energy. I want to be completely in charge of my loosh,
That makes complete sense. I think it's like that with anything in life. It's like it's through suffering really that we learn and grow. And I don't think God causes the suffering. I think he, I think it's just all a part of our this fallen realm that we exist in, right? But
it's all part of the lessons that we're meant to learn. Like my dad died the day, but first my grandma died, and then my dad died the day after his mom died, and then I did my first MMA fight, and I got knockout of the year in that MMA fight because I didn't back out. Like, and everyone wanted me to back out, and everyone wanted me to like pray or sit around and be sad. And I said, no, I stayed the course. That's what grandma and dad and God would want me to do. And then in that moment, because I did that, I ended up getting knockout of the year. And that moment changed my life forever, which put me in charge of running the casino in Detroit. It put me in charge of, everyone knew exactly who I was in Michigan in a single second when I was going through a really bad time. Right. And that was all because I followed the synchronicities I believe God leaves for us, and it's all part of this. You have to be open to it. And I used to be very atheist and agnostic in the sense of who the fuck am I? I'm public school indoctrinated, right? I'm fucking science class. I'm fucking evolution. I'm evolution. That was me, and that's because that's what I was taught. And so it was actually learning the elite. It was actually the elite and all this trust fund dork fuckery that actually helped me find the Lord and the Christ, because it's because you realize if what they're teaching us is not what they're doing, because they definitely are praying to something. They're definitely doing some sort of religious talisman ritual with some sort of weird magic that they put in Disney movies, and all sorts of crazy stuff, and they make you think that that's all a fantasy when this is reality. So as soon as you realize that, it's not so hard to suspend the rest of the things that they've taught us, right? And then you'll grow with a personal relationship with God, and in my opinion, he'll start talking right to you. And then that's who you can really trust, because he'll lead you right to the 77s. He'll lead you right to the 42s, and he'll lead you right to the mother of your children if you haven't already found her, So, you're not going to find her at the bar, and stop trying to search out thirsty girls on OnlyFans, you pathetic sheeple of men out there.
Yeah.
Suck your soul, guys.
Good advice.
You hear 50% of Miami is OnlyFans. All the girls that are under 40 years old, it's like you hear 50% is OnlyFans, and you're like, is that really true? Like, one out of two.
Well, it's aged 18 to 24. 10% do OnlyFans. And that's fucking terrifying to think about, because that's young.
Oh, it's just so sad.
You know what I mean?
Because I feel like they're all sold the same lie.
It's all
it doesn't work out well for them. And then they've ruined their name, essentially. They've ruined their it's really bad. It's really bad. Anyways, back to what you're saying about synchronicities, though. It was so hard for me when my relationship got to where it is now with God, and I started to experience such just unbelievable synchronicities to the point that I'm just like, how is this real? And so I'm like, again, okay, God, send me another sign. Dad, like my dad had just died. Like, my dad was murdered randomly. I'm like, or if you're in heaven with my dad was very, very much a man of prayer. I mean, gosh, it was so amazing at his funeral. How many people showed up in their private jets from the, corporate company he worked for, and all these men that came up to me. We had just had our daughter that I'd never met before that were like, I've been praying for you. We've been praying for you guys and your daughter every day. Your dad was calling us every day, making sure we were praying for you guys and praying for you when you were in the hospital. I had to have both my children, I had to have C-sections like early. I couldn't go into labor,
a month
or any
early.
of the things. And anyways, all of that to say, after I lost my dad, being so indoctrinated in the religion of Christianity and that spirit of religion, there's such a spirit to religion, whereas God transcends all of that. Jesus transcends all of that. That's why Jesus came, right? And still wrestling with that so much, like when my dad passed away. But even through all of it, I had already been through so much that I was like, there has to be a reason for all of this. I knew my dad didn't suffer at all. He died instantly. And so I was like, that's good. And then also, like, I think he was maybe developing some onset dementia type symptoms. And I can imagine, knowing my dad, that he probably even prayed, like, to not have to suffer through anything like that in his life, because his mom did. And so I'm like, God has a plan, even though we don't understand it at all. And you can just say, whatever, that's my way of coping. But I really do believe that. I believe God really does always have a plan, even when we don't get it. And so, like, I was at my lowest, but I couldn't even go to a church around where we live, because I'm just like, I can't explain the level of spirituality that I'm at to most of these people. And so I'd ask God for a sign, for a very specific sign. And I'd walk outside my house the next day, and there it is. And I'm like, well, maybe that's a coincidence. Remember the first time I asked God, I'm like, just send me a feather. And I get out of my car the next day. We don't have, like, we're in a very new neighborhood, no trees around our house, really, like, right by my foot the next day. I mean, I look around all the time for feathers, because I still am like, all these synchronicities, like, let me prove to myself today that that was just a coincidence. And I don't ever see them. But when I ask God, hey, God, are you real? Are you hearing me? Can you send me the sign? It's there. So, like, finally got to the point where I was like, I'm like, send me a feather. There it is. I'm like, that's weird. I never see feathers around our house. We're in a brand new neighborhood with, like, no freaking trees. I'm like, all right, send me another feather maybe. And then finally, I'm still just like doubting my faith, just in the pits. Truly, I can't even tell you where I was at. And then I'm like, just send me a sign. God, can you send me a sign? Like, Jesus, send me that I can't deny. Send me more feathers that I just can't deny. The next day, I'd turn onto the street that I drive on every day. It looked like it had rained feathers. There were thousands, not hundreds, thousands of giant white plumes that were huge. Okay. You know how many people I've asked, like, what do you think this was from around here that was, like, killed somewhere? And they're like, gosh, like, I have no idea. Like, a giant crane. We have some of those around here.
Yeah, we have cranes.
I mean, I have
There's
some
no
of the
swans
feathers.
over
Yeah, it's
here.
like
are swans, but
I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, it's maybe like it wasn't somebody drove by it with a chicken coop, nothing like that. Okay. Like, this is in the middle of nowhere. And it's just this one area that I drive every day, no matter what. And it's literally,
and this was right after she prayed about it too. Like,
and I've never ever seen anything like, I mean, but I have a million stories like that. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, that was just like when I said, God, I'm not looking at another 77 tonight, and then walked in to watch the new Roadhouse, and what's the only mile marker it shows in the movie as he's walking by? I had to pause it. I look right at my wife, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And I said, I guess that's God. I guess that's God letting me know that he'll tell me when I'm done looking at 77s, because,
he's like, no, control.
Yeah, so, I totally believe in those type of synchronicities, and I'm a lot better, feel a lot better about my life with God in my life than before, when I was kind of always searching. But I always felt like there was a spiritual force, but I always felt like, who am I? Like, this is what I was taught in school. Like, this is what everyone believes. Like, this is what the scientists are telling us. Like, and of course I'm a man of debate. So when I was on that side, I was debating all of the freaking points that they were showing on that, and, fighting with, people of the church about things that but to me, I'm always asking questions, because I find inconsistencies very easily. Yeah. And as a martial artist, you investigate, movement, you investigate fighting styles, you investigate people and how your opponent acts and what they're saying to you. Are they telling the truth? Are they acting hurt, or are they really hurt and they're acting not hurt? Like, there's a million ways to read people. And
so you develop your intuition a lot through martial arts.
Yes. And I believe that God gave me a skill of being able to, number one, take a lot of punishment to my head and keep coming. Mm-hmm. And two, be able to read when someone's lying, no matter what.
Oh, feel you, me too.
No matter what it is, like, so matter what it is about, like, and it's like I have a sixth sense for that, and and when they're bullshitting, right? And so I kind of just trust myself and these synchronicities that God send me more than any scientist, any doctor. Like I had to teach the doctor that trains with me, that takes my boxing class. I go, did you know that they put herpes and AIDS medication in all of our cereal? And he goes, no, they don't do that. And then I had to show him what BHT is. And BHT is a preservative that is the main ingredient in herpes and AIDS medication. And it's used in every cereal.
Really?
Now, why?
We don't buy cereal.
I thought you meant they like
But
put
yeah, why- that's
herpes in
bizarre.
our cereal.
No, it's the medication, but not regardless. Why do I need to take?
Yeah.
Why is there, when you could use rosemary as the preservative, why are you using something that's even associated with AIDS and herpes together?
Yeah, that's low
and-
vibrational. Just
Right. Now
killing
so many
us,
ways.
right?
there's a very small section of the grocery store. It's about this big, and it has the BHT free cereal, and there's a very small brands, right? But if you go, I went through every one for pretty much 40 minutes. People are walking by me, probably wondering, why is this guy so interested in every cereal? But it's in every.
They should be more like you.
It's in every cereal and in the toilet paper, in every toilet paper. And I discovered this by listening to a podcast about cosmic. Shout out to the Cosmic Peach, was on Sam's podcast talking about Marilyn Monroe was killed. They OD'd her through an enema, and that's why none of the medicine was in her stomach, and she died instantly because they shoved all the drugs directly up her ass, right? And so that's the fastest way to absorb everything into your body is through anal. So I was like, fuck. Soon as I heard that in the podcast, I immediately went to my phone. I go, what is in our toilet paper that could be harmful? And the AI immediately comes up with chlorine, formaldehyde, which is what they pump dead bodies filled with. Chlorine goes in your pool to kill everything. So why are you putting it directly on your butthole? And then fucking PFAs, which everyone's complaining about PFAs, which are forever chemicals in your water. There's all these lawsuits.
Now in your butthole.
This isn't all toilet paper.
All toilet paper.
Why didn't you just use those organic wipes that I have in there?
Do you have a Target? Do you have a Target by you?
Yeah. We have a Target.
Evergreen is the toilet paper you're looking for. It's the only toilet paper from Walmart, Target, Meijer, or Publix or Kroger or any of the places that doesn't have PFAs, chlorine, BPAs, and formaldehyde. Yeah. All of those you're applying to your butthole every day, and you didn't know it.
I forgot about that. If you were to like fucking pour a teaspoon of alcohol in your butthole, you would probably die. And that's why people probably plug ecstasy. You know?
Yeah, it absorbs quickly or something.
I've never done it.
Right, but this is why it's so funny to the elite to see two grandmas fighting over COVID over toilet paper, because they're like, who's gonna poison their butthole tonight? Is it corner A or corner B with the pocket protector? You know what I mean? Like, they're just sitting back and laughing at all of us doing these things when we don't know what's going on, because this is what a cult is. A cult means hidden, and an apocalypse doesn't mean the end of the world. It means to bring in from the dark into the light. In 70s.
That's
you
the
got Nancy
definition
skitzing
for
out, bro. Nancy said she's looking for 77.
Yeah, they make you think apocalypse means the end of the world, but it really means to reveal. And that's why revelation is so important.
Stop.
Or like
that's
a
something
new
I
beginning,
actually have
right?
never heard.
Like a new.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, Jules. What did you say?
I was saying like a new beginning, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually that you got me.
So
It's
they get
really
everyone.
something I feel like I've never heard it. I didn't know that.
They get everyone to fear the apocalypse, right? Of course, yeah. Get a bidet.
We're
Easy answer.
experiencing the apocalypse
But
right
then
now.
you're just
This is
putting
the age of
chlorine water in
information.
your asshole, Z-Man. So
No, this is the age of information. This is the apocalypse right now. This is when all darkness is coming to light, which is what they're afraid of,
whatever
essentially.
they're putting in there.
Because
Yeah,
darkness
and
exists in the light. This is that's why I named my podcast, of which I've made one episode for, Babylon, and then sometimes I drink too much beer and I talk shit on the internet on there with him. Please don't take me seriously on this podcast ever. But
Take her seriously.
don't. Anyways. But I mean, because I don't know. That's like that was so much of the driving force by like the whole montage thing I made for my podcast that I've had so much fun with artistically. And you should watch it if you haven't, by the way.
We may play it at the
Pretty
end.
cool. We'll play it at the end. But
well, one day maybe I'll come on your podcast and I'll watch it when I'm waiting for her to come on.
No, but she
You can be
needs
my
people to
first
come
guest.
on. Austin Picard.
I'll be your first guest.
That he was going to come on. John Lee will be your first
Oh,
guest.
that'd be awesome.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll sit behind the scenes. You won't even see me, and I'll just run the comments and do all your production.
Hey,
for you.
with your like martial arts stuff, have you been to Asia at all?
No, I haven't flown since I flew to Alaska when I was 18 and the plane almost crashed. And then
Are you serious?
and I decided once this
That's
plane reaches
terrifying.
Michigan again, I'm never flying again. And I haven't flown in 22 years. So
I completely actually, because my brother lives in Hong Kong and I still haven't gone. Well, COVID happened once he moved there, and anyway, I'm scared to fly now because so many planes keep going down.
yeah, I wish they had airships. I'd take an airship anywhere.
What do you think about
Z-Man.
Sorry, I know it's getting late.
Hey,
so I don't know if you have
Z-Man.
to go soon, but let me ask you.
Toad is coming on Sunday, Z-Man. I will play the rest of the songs that you made me with the AI on Sunday. I promise. I promise.
I remember what I was saying. Sorry.
No, it's
I
fine.
just
Interrupt
remembered.
me, please.
No, I wasn't interrupting
No,
you.
do it.
I'm sorry.
What do I think about what? You're going to ask me what I think about something?
It's fine.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you, what do you think about all have you paid attention much to the UFO stuff with like Stephen Greer in particular and his disclosure stuff?
Yeah, I think that.
Bacon gay.
Yeah, I think that guy is a total psyop, just like any of the other stormtroopers that they put out there, like Sean Ryan, Joe Rogan, like
Sean Ryan. Okay, so
Sean
the
Ryan's
vibes
a
I
fucking
get from
glowy
Sean Ryan
dude.
for sure.
even Alex Jones. I think all those guys are Revelation of Method psyops.
And Sean Ryan wouldn't let Chris Bledsoe air. They wouldn't drop the Chris Bledsoe episode. I don't know if you watched or listened to Bledsoe Said So.
Yeah.
And his book, The UFO of God, where he basically met, I think, angels, light beings that didn't try to give him some download of knowledge, but after he met them, like they cured his what'd he have? What'd he have, dude? Rheumatoid arthritis and like a bunch of shit. And basically he found this new meaning of Christ. That he never really found in the church that they went to, which was like I think maybe a Pentecostal church, and the whole church shunned him when he had the fucking experience.
Of course, because
family, and the book is incredible. It's not, there's some new age aspects in it, but that's not the sole focus of it. It's not some like, hey, believe this or like it, because
there's truth in the new age. Both can be true at once. It's just the new age.
Well, we
leaves
talked
out
about
the most important part, which
it's
is
about
Jesus
your
Christ.
exactly, but it's about how you use that knowledge.
Well, and it's that the new age teaches you to glorify yourself when we should be glorifying God.
Here-
And that the good comes through us through
Exactly,
God, through
exactly.
aligning with God.
here's where I make a lot of people mad, and I apologize if either one of you have an emotional reaction to what I'm about to say.
No,
But I believe that this place that we're in right now, that this is hell. And that this is why the demons are here, wandering, just like they say in the book of Enoch, that we put some in the bottomless pit, but the rest are wandering here, right? And that when we die, I believe that until we find the Christ, we keep coming back to this hell, right? And that's
Boom!
that's why you have the 2-year-old that knows how to play Mozart and he never touched a piano, and everyone's trying to figure out how this could be. Well, I believe some of his last life where he didn't find the Christ and he didn't ascend to the next level, but he was a composer, or he had some sort of skill that carried over, right?
Bro,
and so,
no,
we believe this.
we
believe.
yeah.
But a lot of Christians,
like,
I feel you, Christian. A lot of Christians don't
they
want to
would
hear
call
that.
us,
They're like, that's demonic,
blasphemous,
it's
or
Hindu,
whatever.
It's no.
When it is
not.
truly about
this is what they believe
of the use of this knowledge and how
Right.
people use it. Because like you have people doing reincarnation rituals and Osirian mystery schools and all this other stuff, to where they will have a spirit reincarnate through them.
And also,
right?
people are deceived with some kind of new age practitioner doing some incarnation.
Blavatsky,
hypnotic. But I agree
Alice
with you.
Bailey, all
agree
that
with you.
stuff.
What is that quote? What is that quote from? This is hell, the demons are here. I had chills when you were just saying that, because it was a quote I put on like my fucking MySpace when I was like 16, because I literally had that revelation. It's a quote from something, but it's like, so it's
there's even Bible quotes that, and I can't think of a lot of them off the top of my head because I got so many things running through there right now. But it's very interesting once you start digging into the Bible and reading it yourself. A lot of things make sense. For instance, there's this part in Leviticus where it tells you not to wear certain clothes and linens and stuff.
yeah,
because the vibrations are off, right?
Right. Because we're finding out now that these linens lower your vibration, because now we know everything is frequency in vibration, and these fucking vampires are all about stealing our vibrations, lowering them, and stealing our energy, and making us live by their frequency, not the frequency God's trying to send us, right?
Exactly.
And so it's very interesting when you have these revelations that kind of illuminate all of these concepts a lot more. You know what I mean?
It's really difficult because then you want to buy your baby all 100% organic cotton everything, or 100% organic linen everything. And
Nike uses only the materials you're not supposed to wear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like everyone's wearing Nike. Everyone's wearing Nike, and they're all walking around in the supposed lower vibration material.
Oh gosh, well, it's like most things that are just polyester, which is just plastic. It's I daily just pray out and speak out against all the junk and garbage, because I do also believe that. I'm not saying it's like a free pass to sin or to whatever. I'm just saying, like, I think it's important to bless our food before we eat it. I think it's important to just pray, stay in prayer throughout the day, daily. I mean, water has memory, right? We're 80% water. We're
75% water.
And we can speak life over ourselves, over each
or
other.
That's
what
may be the
prayer
earth.
is, that's why.
I think that's the earth. It's like 75%.
No, I think I'm pretty
it
sure
may be our bodies too.
I'm pretty sure
it's probably both.
70 to 80% water.
Yo, I'm gonna look that up.
There are
how much water is the human body made out of? This says 60, but it says when you're an infant, it's around 78.
Okay, there you go. So like there's a guy in Japan.
According to Grok 2.
60.
Emoto.
Yeah, up to 73. Okay, 79. All right. So
there was a scientist in Japan. I can't remember his last name or his first name. I think his last name's Emoto. Anyways, he did experiments with water molecules, and he essentially would
71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water.
So
So yeah, it's very, very similar.
I noticed the Easter egg on your wall. Eraserhead 1977.
No shit, dude.
No way.
Yep.
No way. That's wild.
1977 is David Lynch, Eraserhead. I think that's his first film. And he's all
R.I.P., dude.
He's all about that shit.
Well, he had passed away a few weeks ago.
No way.
David Lynch. You didn't know?
No, I didn't know. How old was he?
Man. Oh, fuck me. I'm about to
figure it out right now.
Don't say that over yourself. Hang on, sorry.
$78.
Wow.
Get the fuck out of here!
Close.
He made it a year past 77.
Close. Hey, you know who Jimmy Carter just died not too long ago? Jimmy Carter, and he was married to his wife for 77 years. They put that in the newspaper. They had to just put that in the paper when he died, you know, that he was married to his wife for 77 years.
Didn't do nothing. Fuck. Oh my God.
That's way too hot.
Way too hot, he said.
Yeah, you're lit up like a Christmas tree.
Lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
I was trying to move it.
Oh my God. It made me blind. Okay, that's fine. No, it was fine.
Yeah,
at the
that's
low.
that's good.
It's good.
I always think I gotta be more light too, but I realize my screen is big enough that I don't even need a light. My screen is just lights me up perfectly. When I turn on a light, I get too hot. The people say, like, you're so fucking hot.
Yeah, man. I usually, the past few weeks I've been using this other light that her friend had left left over here. So, but this light is great. That did sound bad.
It's a very good multi-purpose light.
It's a good light
for hair and makeup because I do that for brides.
For brides. No more homecoming queens. We're not making teenagers look 25 anymore.
It really does feel morally wrong to do that. No, the worst is like the 9th graders because like I do their makeup and then they look like they're my age. And I'm like, I feel like this is really morally wrong. But their parents paid me like $400 to come here. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd be giving them makeup and doing their hair too for $400.
But it's really morally feels
That's what
wrong. Like I felt so convicted about it. I'm not even kidding you. Like to the point that I want to turn down jobs when we need the money, even because I'm like, it just makes me feel bad. And then their dads get home like right as I'm finishing up,
and the look of disappointment in the dad's eyes.
Well, you know what? This will make you feel better because there's parents out there that are really falling for this Ishtar worship. Because their doctors are being pushed to push it, right? And so then you have kids going and they're chopping off their private parts and they're turning them inside out and they're completely falling for this 42 worship. So I'm listening to this 10 kids, right? They all look like little girls, but they're all little boys, right? And they literally look like little girls, sound like little girls. I mean, if I did all the boys, it was 10 boys, all looked like little girls. And if you didn't know that this wasn't a transgender group, then you would think that they were all girls. And one was talking about her post-surgery. Now, the others hadn't gone through surgery yet. And she's talking and she started crying. And because she's talking about why is my vagina unraveling?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, it's really scary if you go down that rabbit
Now when you
No child should have to ask that question.
Well, it's a wound that closes up for them. If they don't do things regularly to like make sure it doesn't, it will like grow.
It's so messed up. And if you look at the Frankenstein surgeries that they're doing to these people, it's so fucked up. But what people don't understand is
we should all pray for them because
is that the elite don't do this to themselves. The elite, they just dress up like a girl. Like for instance, right now, Jules, Google Happy Nelson, which is Happy Rockefeller, right?
Unless
Nelson,
the elite might do it to their kids.
The elite,
I, mean,
I was about to say,
so many of her
unless
kids are
some of
trans.
the fucking people in
they just play dress. They just
sacrifice, right?
They just play dress up. Yeah, the people in sacrifice, the people in Hollywood, they aren't part of the elite. They're just the homunculus. They're just the homunculus. Now, wait, find the one with her Adam's apple picture. She's got one with the thick Adam's apple picture. and her hands are bigger than my hands. Like she's fucking like a brick.
Oh,
Like I'm not.
yeah.
Shit, dude. What the fuck? Hold on.
Now people talk about Barbara Bush. They talk about Michelle Obama being men, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a couple pictures of Happy with a full-on fucking Adam's apple.
Those are some big hands, dude.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones where she looks even more like. Let me see here.
I mean, so hold on.
That-
is
that-
this fucking Nelson's wife?
Yeah, that's Nelson's
That's a
wife.
man, dude.
That's Nelson's wife.
It does look like a little bit of an Abbott.
Look at Nelson.
Apple, but
Faggot.
Now my what I think is that the elite have one that's a 42 that's into the Ishtar worship, but they don't cut their genitals off. They get the herd to do that, right? They get the herd to do that. They just play dress up and they're gay, right? They're gay and they play dress up. They don't actually massacre their own bodies. They save that for the goyim, right?
Right.
Oh my god. Shut the fuck.
They're really old.
That's a dude. Look at
Dude.
David.
Put your hands over the hair. Put your hands over the hair.
Burning in hell right now.
Have you seen what some old ladies like?
I get it, but I'm just saying.
I literally just try to
swear
put my hand
I will
over
be,
her.
I'll be a beautiful old lady.
Okay. Olivia. That's a fucking man. Happy Rockefeller is a man.
I don't like to. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. Trust me.
I'm just throwing it out there that what I think's going on with this whole Ishtar worship stuff is that they always have like a Michael Obama and a Barack Obama thing going on, but they don't actually do the surgery. They're just into that, right? While they get the herd to do everything literally, to wear a mask and drive a convertible, to cut your stuff off and think you're going to be a girl and have a baby when you don't even fucking have a uterus. Like, I mean, it's just wild. This wild.
What the fuck, Nancy?
The most like offensive to me as a mother is just the idea that these men literally think that they can play dress up as a woman and then play dress up as like a lactating woman or something. Like it's so, that's the part is like, so like I have what? Oh gosh.
Princess Stephanie.
I have just so much empathy for the suffering of other.
Oh my
human
God.
beings.
That's Charlie Sheen. Or, like, that's what I was.
Might be a woman.
Bullshit.
Listen, like we could be reaching for a lot of these things, right?
Was
But I'm
Grace-
just
so was
I'm not
Grace
saying
Kelly
you're
a
reaching,
woman
You guys might be right.
I'm just saying it is really interesting because when you start figuring out the playbook a little bit more,
Right.
it seems like this could be the case. And just like how in the Olympics they had the
I
Well,
thought she
Grace
was
Kelly
pretty,
was an actress, I think. Hold on.
But I thought
Grace
she-
Kelly, Princess of Monaco.
I thought she was one of the
Oh,
ones that
that's definitely a woman.
Okay, because I was told by multiple people
Good
that
looking.
in person that I look like her. So I'm like, what the fuck do you mean she looks like a man? Hold on.
no, that's not the same princess that he's talking about.
Okay, because multiple men, older men, have come up to
Shit.
me in person.
Grace Kelly was
And told
Let's share
me
this
you look just like
for,
Grace Kelly, and I'm
the
like,
Yeah.
I don't know who that
guys
is.
out.
Grace Kelly was an actress that was so gorgeous.
This is
The
the
Prince of Monaco wanted her.
Oh,
So does she
that's a
name herself
compliment.
after Grace?
Yes, it's a compliment. Yeah, but she died very young because she was in a car accident, I think, trying to get away from someone. It was
I
kind
had
of like some
people
Princess Diana shit.
Like come up to me. I
Pretty
was
hot.
hanging out with my friends, laughing, whatever. 2 times that older men came up to me and were like, "You look just like Grace Kelly," and I was like, "I don't know who that is." And I forgot.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say to you if I was an older guy trying to get your attention too.
I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, that'll get you asking questions, right?
Your doppelganger.
From Scarface. That's the one that I used
Michelle,
to get the most. Michelle Pfeiffer when she was
Michelle
younger.
Pfeiffer.
Especially when I had bangs.
I was watching Den of Thieves the other day.
Yes.
I was watching Den of Thieves the other day, and they had a couple 77s pop up. One was a store called 77 Nail Spa. So the sign says 77 Nail Spa in the background. And then there was a dollar bill that went across the screen at a close up, and it had 33 and 77 right next to each other as the serial number of the dollar bill. Right. So, it's really interesting how no matter what movie you're watching, it'll be in there. 999s. There was a license plate. The Age of Adeline. It was
right now. 999s. I didn't do it. That's what they gave me, but I felt like it was a sign. What does that mean?
What?
Like 999.
Well, it says that whenever there's 3 numbers in a row, it's an angel trying to talk to you, but
Right,
who knows?
That's an angel
so
number.
My license plate was 999. What does 999 mean?
I don't know. I focus mostly on 77 and 42 because there's way too much to go around. But the number 11, according to Crowley, means magic. And whenever they pop that number into something, it's going to help their chances of success. So maybe that's why you see 411, 911, 311, 711.
You have the number 7, which is very, very prevalent in the Bible and many ancient texts. Multiply that times 11, you got 77.
It's very interesting in the Bible. There's a in Genesis it says, if Cain is to be avenged 7 times, then I, Lamech, will be avenged 77 times.
There you go. And Semyaza was there during the time of Cain and Abel. He was there up until Egypt, where he was known as Uzzah, the tutelary angel. And you read that name in Enoch as well, Asa, Uzzah, which Semyaza and Marduk were fucking best buds. And I've been doing deep dives on Marduk for the past year.
Have you seen that film?
What?
As Above, So Below.
As Above, So Below?
Yeah, I just watched it a couple weeks ago, actually, kind of just to revisit it.
Can I ask you something about it?
Yeah.
I have this theory about it. It's actually what I talked about on, not very well, because I'm not used to talking in front of a microphone or a camera or any of this, and I'm really camera shy. But I have this theory about, have you heard of the idea of the dark night of the soul?
The dark what of the soul?
Dark night of the soul.
The dark night of the soul, no.
So, Carl Jung, did you know Carl Jung?
Yep, I know.
So it's kind of like a phrase he coined. I figured you'd know who he was, like talking about synchronicities and stuff. Dark night of the soul, it's essentially like a transformative thing that happens, right? Through a period of just extreme suffering, not just like life sucks, it's hard, I'm kind of depressed, like just unbearable suffering that you choose to push through. Kind of like what you were talking about with your training, right? Like it's almost as if it's a spiritual practice training, right? Because it's like you are pushing yourself into this suffering because you know that you will grow from it and you will evolve from it spiritually as well. It's like, what'd you say? Sorry. No, I forgot what I was going to talk about in the beginning. Sorry. I don't remember. I drank some beer. I shouldn't. Well, you're fine. I can't remember. What were we talking about before what I just said?
I derailed my wife.
Before I said this stuff about my first episode of my podcast, Dark Night of the Soul, whatever. I asked you about Carl Jung. What were you talking about before that? Do you remember?
No, I get hit in the head a lot, so I forget things pretty quick.
I don't remember.
We bought Girl Scout cookies.
That's funny. I just bought some too by the #1 seller in Livingston County. She said as I'm walking by, she's like, "You don't stand a chance. I'm #1." I go, "What?" I go, she's like, "You don't stand a chance. I'm #1 in the county." She's like, "Just buy a box." I'm like, "No shit. All right." Yeah. She didn't even ask me if I wanted some.
That's such a good marketing technique.
Really
I was
good.
super impressed. I was like, "I'll get you on the way out." I was like, that was pretty good. Like, cause she's like, "You don't even stand a chance." I had no idea what she was talking about. She's like 7. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I didn't see that.
Thank you, Z man.
that movie's really interesting. As Above, So Below, because it talks about Nicholas
Talking about.
Flamel.
Yeah.
Who is also mentioned in Harry Potter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, let me before I forget, this is what I was gonna say, and then we'll let you go if you're ready to go. So what I was gonna say is I have this theory that I've kind of had time to do research on, but not really because we had another baby. Excuse me. For tonight. Anyways, so my theory is that movie essentially is this idea, and when Carl Jung talks about this idea of the dark night of the soul, of this period of unimaginable suffering, but that essentially kind of unlocks something inside of you. I kind of have this theory that there's a process that you can do this through when you're aligning yourself with God. So God is opening these things up for you. God is tuning your intuition. Maybe you're already born with it because maybe you have lived past lives as well, right? But essentially that it's not through the flesh that happens if you're aligning yourself with God. There's another way of doing it that is solely through the flesh. That is what, like you're talking about, these elites do. And it's just magic, right? And I mean, everything's magic in a way, right? Every word we speak is powerful, especially when enough faith is
We
put
talked
in
about
it.
that earlier. Yeah.
Right. But it's like there's this differentiation. Anyways, so my idea with that movie is that there's this alchemical process that a human being goes through when they experience such severe pain and suffering that it's just so unimaginable that it should kill them in every sense, and it feels as if it will kill them, and they just sit in it. Like they don't escape it, they don't get fucked up, they don't do anything but literally suffer through.
I've done that.
Because I did that for such a long period of time that I feel like it genuinely, well, I don't feel like that process alone unlocked things within me. I feel like God also, I feel like it's God at the same time. But I have this theory on that movie that, and I like the cults of Dionysus did something along these lines with their death cults of like, you make this pilgrimage and you, basically what they were doing is getting really high on like mushrooms or some kind of concoction in ancient Greece. But it's almost like, I don't know, like it's as if in that movie, they go so deep into the abyss, into the darkness, into just the fiery pits that they eventually come out on the other side. I don't know. I'm probably not articulating what I want to say very well.
No, I think you're absolutely right that that's what the Philosopher's Stone is you are the Philosopher's Stone, and we are all going to have to go through this alchemical process to achieve enlightenment, to achieve the knowing of being able to know, Christ. And I think, and I think that that's all what it's going to come down to. And the elite try everything that they can to make sure that we don't make that discovery. That's why these indoctrination stations exist. That's why everything's about getting you to either be praying to science or praying to the wrong thing, or, doing something that's not good for you physically, like just taking oil-based drugs, petroleum-based drugs instead of going to, and working out. And, they shut down all the health, clubs during COVID and kept all the fast food stuff open because it is all this. It is all this. If you're eating fast food, your alchemical process will be slow. You know what I mean? You may never reach it. You know, if you're not on the right wavelength with God, you're never going to become enlightened, because you'll believe that you became from a fucking monkey, which is the stupidest fucking shit I ever heard in my fucking life. You know what I mean? And it's like, look, I used to believe my grandpa was the head test pilot for the entire Navy. He was in charge of an entire base of test pilots. Nobody was more of a bigwig in the stormtrooper area than my grandpa. And the whole reason I even exist was because he was so good at vaporizing people during Vietnam that they allowed him to retire to the Florida Keys and live on a very nice, salary, where my dad met my mom at a marina, and so just my existence came from so much death, from so much murder, that it's almost like God just for me to exist, there's definitely a plan. Right. And a lot of people had to die just for me to exist, because if my grandpa didn't vaporize all those people, if he didn't land the plane that looked like Swiss cheese, and the mechanics are like, how the fuck did this even get back? How did you even get back here? He's like, I don't know, fix her up. We got to go back out. They're like, this motherfucker's never flying again, dude. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's like, all right, well, get me another one. You know what I mean? Like, that was my grandpa. And that was, and at the end of his life, he asked me, he's like, well, God forgive me for everything that I've done. I said, do you want forgiveness? He's like, more than anything. And this guy, used to have astronauts over to the house to go water skiing, to go sailing. And I used to look up to these guys like they were heroes. And now I know that these astronauts are just big lying actors that work for trust fund dorks that pretend to be doing something scientific, when really it's an ancient phallic ritual that they're shooting these rockets at the firmament, which is explained in the Bible, and they're trying to break through it, but they can't. And they make everyone believe they're going to space, right? And it's such a fucking mind fuck to even get over all of that. You realize that everything that they've ever told you in your life is a fucking lie, except for how you feel about your family and how you feel about the Lord is the only truth that you can really know. Everything else,
sure, I agree.
Everything else is a lie. I mean, where you can name one thing and I'll tell you where the lie is. Somewhere down the line they lied about something which made it a lie. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. They always mix lies in with the truth too.
Right. And one of my favorite ways that they fucked with us is in the Hebrew version of the Bible. After David kills Goliath, they go up into the mountains, him and his mighty men, who were also giants, by the way. Some of them were
saved. Like some of the Nephilim could be saved.
Right. And so they go up into the mountains to kill the rest of the giants. And the giant pulls out a weapon that confuses David, and he doesn't understand what it is. Right. But in the fucking King James version, they just switch it to a sword. Conveniently, this is a sword, right? That could have been some ancient technology, right? That we don't even understand, that they were using back in the day to maybe build some of these buildings that we can't build, that kind of may solve some of these other mysteries, especially some of the construction mysteries. Because I can tell you, being in construction, there's a lot of these structures around the world that there's no way we can build them. We have nothing that could lift these stones. They're too big. Not the biggest machine we've ever invented could lift any of these stones. And even if you had all slaves, they're not going to be able to rope this fucking thing up anything. Like it's all. So there's so many mysteries that could be explained with maybe some of this technology that is even explained, could be being explained in the Bible. But since they fucked with the translation in 1611 and King James and all of his Freemason fucktard writers retranslated and took out the books that they wanted,
Right.
You know,
the Nicaean.
now all of a sudden, but I'm not talking 325 AD. That's the Council of Nicaea. I'm talking.
Well, there were two councils of Nicaea. But I was actually going to throw out there that the mighty men of David were called the Gibbor, Gibbor. But sorry.
But my point is that there's a lot of mystery still in a lot of the translations, right? And if people aren't actually doing their research and they're just going by what the surface area presentation is, then of course, like, we're all going to be lost, you know? But like I always say, make sure you're spending more time doing your praying and your meditate rather than your investigate. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, that's such a great.
Yeah, and
so true.
It's easy to get lost in that, you know.
And just the seeking of knowledge, and then
Absolutely.
it can become a high.
I'm guilty of it, man.
We all are, and it becomes a high. It's like it's a high like anything else, and it's like God wants us to. Well, not only just that God wants us to slow down and process. Like, there's so many reasons why the Bible says to meditate on the word. And there are also scientific reasons that back that up for people that are super married to the religion of science, right? It's like, in order
Seance.
It's like, in order to really solidify something into your brain matter, you essentially can't just hear the information. You have to hear the information and then put it into action or repeat it to yourself. I mean, you have to do something with the information for it to really stick. And like, for me, like, my personality, at times I'll get on a kick of just like, I'm just absorbing all this information, but what am I doing to make sure it sticks? Especially the information that's really, really important about things in matters of like, I'm very into learning about spiritual warfare and the power of words and the ways in which we can speak against negative energy, demonic, whatever you want to call it, right? That's all around.
Yeah, that's my jam. Spiritual warfare. That's my jam for sure.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's the truth. It's everything. It's the foundation of everything. And it's really like, like, I've listened to this one podcast lately. It's called the Deep End with, I can't remember the guy's name, but
I think he follows me.
Really, the Deep End with Taylor something. Oh, you should totally look it up.
It's not the Deep Share.
No, it's the Deep End.
Okay.
But like,
because the Deep Share is a faggot.
Okay, this is not the same person. But
he drinks.
Oh, Jules, stop! This is definitely not the same person.
All right. Whoa.
What the hell? Who are you talking? Why is this person following?
I don't know. He follows.
Wait,
he doesn't follow me. He follows Box Saga guy.
I was just, oh my god! I was just gonna say, is he into the Box Saga? That's so fucking hilarious.
20%. You'll gain 20% of knowledge in your brain. Like, that's not worth being a faggot.
Let's not listen to this guy.
Hey, no, who's listening to him? None of my audience. But
anyways, the spiritual
I digress.
My favorite right now.
Well,
anyways, it was nice to meet
John.
you.
We've been on here for about 3.5 hours, man.
Yeah, we rivaled a Joe Rogan episode. That's for sure.
Well, me and you, I think this is the third time you've been on Gray Pilled, so I think all these times you've been on here, you've definitely broke 3 hours each time. I think. So that speaks awesome. That speaks volumes, man.
Oh
God, excuse me.
Julian.
I appreciate you guys having me on and a chance to talk about my book, and you could go on Amazon and buy it.
Yeah, please.
I sent you the picture
that you can like show.
No, I actually don't. I'm waiting on them.
That's okay.
I'm waiting on, but I sent you a picture.
Texted it to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to show it, but yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and it's great, and it was nice to meet you. I'll come on your podcast and be your first guest, where you could talk about some ancient trust fund dork fuckery and spiritual warfare. That's my jam, and it's coming from a true student, you know.
That would be really good. I do better on podcasts when I'm not drinking, so. We can do.
We all do,
can
'cause
plan it every day.
It's the both for me, but you know, John,
I have to remind my
I know about the out school. You know,
yeah, I have to remind my students about fallen angel worship in the form of drinking, and they always give me a hard time. No, I can still do it. I'm like, I'm just letting you know, I do it too. Sometimes I'm just letting you know it is what it is. Just know what you're doing and know that you're lowering your force field a little bit to let these entities come into you, and then give you some bad thoughts, and maybe that's just wow. Look at that ass. Look at that ass. Look at that ass over there. You know what I mean? Look at that ass over there.
you don't want to act like Azazel, guys. You don't want to be cast into Sheol.
You're very
you
right.
know.
They call them spirits for a reason.
Yep.
But John-
And to go with your Sumerian bar is Sumerian for altar.
Really,
Wow. No way.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So now you're at the altar worshiping the body eating spirit.
What the fuck, dude? I didn't know that
Dude,
was
that's so
Sumerian for
wild.
altar.
So have fun drinking. I'll be sipping my water and running and jumping rope.
Right. I'm
Hey,
gonna go drink my kombucha now.
go drink your kombucha, and I will drink
Go
Coors.
bounce on my
because
gut, pee.
I'm kidding. Listen,
Jules.
I'm probably like a 4 times a year type of guy. Like 4 or 5 times a year, I may probably touch it a little bit, but I try not to. And that's just it. It is what it is. But I'm definitely not one of those guys that haven't touched it in 12 years or 20 years or anything like that. But I know the power of it, and I know how much it fucks me up from training, because I can't train the day after even, because I feel like such shit usually. So
only the
and-
black ones, Q. Sorry, Q likes black women, so we like to mess with them.
my black friend taught me what a thought means the other day too. So just so you know, I had no idea what a thought was, but now I do. That hoe over there.
That may come from Thoth, right?
Oh.
You never know, guys. You never know. John, put in your plugs, brother. So we can get out of here.
Well, my book is 77 Trust Fund Dork Avenue. You can find it on Amazon. It's hard to find. My next book will be 77 Trust Fund Dork Boulevard, which I'm started writing already, and it should be done by the end of the summer. I don't think it'll take me as long as for this one, since I already have a good momentum and I know what I'm going to write about. My podcast is It's Not What You Think podcast. It's not what you think, it's what I think. That's why I called it that. So I really don't give a fuck what everyone else thinks. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And if you want to ask questions, I'll try to answer them. So I love all of you, and stay the course. Keep fighting for the Lord. And if you haven't found the Lord already, I hope you do soon, because it will change your life.
Yes.
Hell yeah, man.
brother.
And
Hallelujah.
we
Hallelujah.
love you.
Yeah, you're awesome.
You are
This was great.
Love you guys.
A very close friend of the show, of Gray Pilled. Guys, we just got through a year. We fucking made it.
So proud of you.
Thanks, baby. Putting out another Elohim. I just dropped Marduk Part 3 today. Putting out Ningajita Thoth Hermes Part 2 tomorrow. So me and Adrian will be getting together next Saturday for a Patreon episode on either I can't even fucking say his name. Ningajita Part 3.
It is a mouthful.
Or we'll start on Ishkur, aka Zeus, aka Baal Zephon. There's a lot of names for him. I think maybe the youngest son of Enlil or El. So yeah, y'all stay on the lookout for that. Sunday, me and Connie are having Toad on. So that's going to be after the Super Bowl. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk to Toad about his betting show, Better Off Dead, and some more shit. So plug your stuff.
His betting show.
Yeah, Better Off Dead.
Plug my stuff.
Yeah, plug your stuff.
Gosh, being in front of a camera is so weird. Hey guys, I'm Olivia.
Okay, they know.
Follow my podcast. It's called Babylon. Wordplay. Get it? Awesome. I'm cool, and listen to my podcast or don't. I don't give a fuck. And like this guy said, I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want. And if you don't like it or you don't like me, I don't fucking care. And if you've caught any of
loves
Joel's
you
episodes where I was really drunk and you want to talk to me, I also don't care, because I could be doing worse things and I haven't in like 10 years.
I don't think it's that.
So
It's fine. I think
I'm not drunk on my podcast. So go watch it.
You guys are funny.
Was that good?
Stop
Was
it,
that
Q.
good?
And I must say that I wish that my wife would sit next to me and do a podcast like this, because she's a truther. She knows what's going on, and
Oh,
I think
bet she's awesome.
that would be, maybe we could do a double date podcast.
Oh, that'd be
maybe
so cool.
that'd be a good
We could do
icebreaker.
that.
It's weird being in front
I'd
of
be
the
down to
camera
do
when you're not
that.
used to it. So if she's not cool with it, I feel her. It's weird, but it would be really cool if she did.
Guys, Twitter,
I think so.
Graypilled
Yeah.
Pod, Instagram, Graypilled_podcast, Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Also, I'm going to be getting on Spreaker pretty soon.
What is Spreaker?
Spreaker, it's something we'll get paid for it.
Speaker, but spree.
Spreaker. Yeah, it's like
Like
Spotify. It's like
Spreaker.
an RSS feed, but
Oh.
you get money. I think you get paid.
Okay, give us money on Spreaker.
No, Spreaker pays us. No one has to give us money. You dingus. I love you. No. So anyway, let me switch chairs because I feel there we go. All right. Fucking mechanics here. Anyway, patreon.com guys /Graypilled podcast. Got a few tiers. Get in where you fit in. Yeah. Besides that, Forbidden Knowledge News, me and Chris from Forbidden Knowledge News will be doing an episode in, I guess, maybe 2 Saturdays, February 15th.
Look how cute he is. Follow him on all the things.
Thanks, babe.
Okay, it was very nice to meet you. I can't hear you anymore because I took these headphones.
She said it was very nice to meet you, John. I'm sure you can hear. And then we got some sound sciences coming up, guys. We got Foundering coming on. We got Ass Butt coming on. Me and Thomas, the Paranoid American.
Thomas.
Yeah, shout out Thomas. We got Shane Cashman coming on, and also Weston Cage, Nick Cage's son. So that's going to be a fucking banger. Yeah, guys, this was fun, John. I really did love this. We got to do some more, like, I don't know. We have to do some more episodes where we can kind of do a deep dive on something. I think me and you could have fun with that.
Yeah, and it'd be cool to like almost research it in real time, like get a little bit of a foundation, and then come together with our research, and then kind of see what we can find together at once. I think a couple guys I think do a good job doing that is when Thomas and Juan get together. They used to have this.
Yeah,
they used to have this. Yeah, they really did a good job with the Cult Book Club. They really did.
Like, Book Club is awesome. They need to bring it back.
They really do. That was a good one.
Yeah, no, we should definitely do something like that. Maybe we could throw our own little branding name on it or something.
I'm down.
Hell yeah, brother. Anyway, guys, love y'all. We'll see y'all. Who knows? Maybe if I wake up early enough, I'll do a Patreon episode like early in the morning. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Probably won't wake up early enough. But if not, I'll see y'all Sunday, and you guys stay gray-pilled. Later. Kill me, boy.
You handsome
Shouts out.
faggot.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Imagine a world where every word ever written, every picture ever painted, and every film ever shot could be viewed instantly in your home via an information superhighway.
Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism.
I mean, let's remember here, the people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago.
A former U.S. intelligence official and Air Force veteran claims a top-secret program is withholding evidence of alien spacecrafts.
But I wish the Congress would address the unconstitutionality of presidents waging war.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
An estimated 2.5 million children currently take stimulants like Ritalin.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
We're going to talk to you about the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.